Hello and welcome to this weekly psychic forecast for week commencing the 27th of March 2023. We are streaking towards April and we're now in British summertime, so the clocks have finally gone forwards. May have lost an hour's sleep, but the days are brightening up and it's pretty nice. So we've got the overview for next week laid out here in front of us. We've also got our other little spirit cards here. I've got the money oracle, the romance oracle, my spirit message oracle, and lastly one I don't normally use, which is the cat oracle. Now if you remember my cat Evie, who passed away about a year and a half ago, this kind of has her energy, so I apologise in advance. And I've also got the Akashic Tarot here if we need any clarifiers. So let's dive on in with the overview of the week, and let's take a look at what's coming up in this week's energy. So wow, this one showed up last week, so it's interesting to me that it's showing up again. I forget which day it came out on, but we definitely had this one. So there is very much this sense of balancing our power. And last week I was talking very much about balancing the masculine and feminine energies, the divine masculine, divine feminine. But it looks like we're taking things a step further this week. So, oh, interesting numerology. Look at this. We've got a 2, a 52, and a 5. So we've got the numbers 5 and 2, 5 and 2. Okay, very interesting. And the way these are the other way around, so that would be 25, 52. So I want to bring those numbers in as well. As you guys know, I'm a numerologist, so I'm a bit of a number nerd, so I will always pick the numbers out if I see patterns and I think they're relevant. Very interesting. Yes, so 5 and 2 is the divine masculine and the divine feminine, if you like, because if we look at the tarot, for example, 2 is the high priestess, 5 is the high priest. So we have this very sacred and combined energy here as well. Very interesting. With 52 we would have the feminine leading the masculine, and with 25 we would have the masculine leading the feminine. So it's very balanced this week. I want to say the masculine and feminine actually noticeably coming into balance in certain ways in your life, whether it's within you, whether it's people around you, maybe it's people just changing their behaviours, maybe it's something that you notice on the television, in popular culture, you know, on the world stage. Very interesting though, because that is how we wield our power. We must be integrated in order to truly be powerful, in order to have control over ourselves, because that's what true power is. It's not about being able to control other people. That's not power, that's just force. True power is to have mastery over oneself, over one's thoughts, over, you know, your existence, so that you are acting, not reacting. Wow, very, very empowered energy as we enter this week, I think. I think this is a week where we're going to be able to really achieve things, or to get the ball rolling on some of our goals. Maybe to manifest things as well, because we have this magic scarab beetle here. The scarab, a very sacred beetle in ancient Egypt, very symbolic animal, so that may actually show up at some point on your path, or you may even see a beetle as though the weather's getting warmer here in the northern hemisphere. Obviously if you're in the southern hemisphere you might see a beetle as well. But magic works through you. Really loving this energy. With present power, magic works through in the throat chakra. I want to say this is a week to literally speak your world into being. Speak your world into being. Declare your world into being. Say what you want out loud. Give the words power. You know, say them, sing them, shout them, declare them. I feel that's going to be very helpful for manifesting the things that we want. And that may be changes in the world as well, not just little things that we want for ourselves, or more money. Who doesn't want more money, right? You know, or our personal goals, but bigger goals as well, speaking them into being. I want to talk about mantras. I want to talk about chanting. I want to talk about song, or using the voice, because as I'm saying this, I'm very, very aware of my voice resonating in my chest right now, which I'm not something I normally feel, but my guides are bringing my awareness to it. So I feel the voice will be very powerful. The voice coupled with the heart, very, very powerful this week. I think as a result, we need to watch our words, be very careful about what we say, because we may be more capable of manifesting things this week than we realise. So we need to watch our words. It's going to be a little bit of a week of be careful what you wish for. So there's that element too. I just want to bring in a little bit of caution there. But overall, this feels very positive, feels very empowered this week. We're going to be feeling more empowered, feeling more balanced within ourselves, and perhaps seeing that reflected in the world around us as well. So quite an exciting energy to be getting on with here. I'm quite very much looking forward to this week. And I just want to mention I am. So there are mantras, I am mantras, where you use the I am presence and you declare I am. I'm not explaining it very well. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. If you don't, then that's something you can look up when you're talking about the I am presence. And that's aligning yourself energetically with God, basically, which is a wonderful thing to do, beautiful energy to get into. Obviously, that is the energy you want to be in, to align yourself with God or with Source in order to manifest your desires. That's how it works. You know, we align ourselves with that energy. But it's very much a coming together of the sacred and the mundane, the arcane and the mundane, I think, this week as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens again in individual lives on the world stage. It feels like a transformational week as well, quite magical, maybe some synchronicity going on there. Yes, very spiritual. I think there's a real opportunity for spiritual learning after the weekend as well. I think the weekend that we've just had may have opened up some doors for you spiritually, literally some doors of perception, to quote Jim Morrison. But yes, it's a powerful energy, because with 52 we get 7. 5 plus 2 is 7, and then we have another 5 and 2 here, so that's another 7. So again, that brings us to 14. Incredibly balancing number, 14, 5, so it reduces to 5 again. So the masculine is very much underpinning all of this energy. The masculine energy is the one balancing and carrying all of this. Yes, so it feels like the divine masculine is going to be front and centre, actually doing most of the heavy lifting. So let's bring in some of these cards here as well. Let's bring in the Spirit Oracle, see what else they've got to say for us. Oops, all the cards want to come out. That's good. Who wants to come out? Whoops. Be silent. Ah, yes, meditation, contemplation. Yes. But I also want to talk about mantra. So there's a place for mantra, but there's also a place for meditation and silent contemplation too. You don't have to be using the voice all the time, only when it's important, only when it matters, I want to say. And this is what I was saying about declare what you want and be silent the rest of the time, because you might manifest something you don't want. It's a very, very powerful week for manifesting. Extremely potent energy this week. So be careful what you say out loud, because it might show up. If you just say something like jokingly, like, oh yeah, I'll buy myself a horse, you might accidentally find yourself getting a horse show up. Anyway, I would like that. You know, I would love a horse. I would be okay with that. 43 cosmic alignment. Oh, lovely. Another 7, 43, 7. So very mystical energy. 7, the number of the mystic, very spiritual number. The number of the spiritual seeker, the spiritual student. Cosmic alignment. So be interesting to see what's actually going on astrologically this week as well. I'm not an astrologer, as you know. Have a look to see what's going on in your chart this week as well, because it feels like well, not just astrologically, but it feels like things coming into alignment, so your ducks kind of starting to line up, being able to actually create and produce and manifest the things that we want this week. So it is kind of a magical moment where we can make things appear quite quickly, which is why caution is needed, caution's warranted. Sovereign being, yes, this reminder here, you are a sovereign being. And because of this potent energy this week, there will be those who know about these things, who call themselves authorities or powers, although they're not working for the good of us, they're only working for themselves. The people I call the dark powers sometimes, or the powers that should not be, or the powers that were, because I like to put them in the past tense. There's a reminder here that they will be trying to manipulate us. Okay, so it's an incredibly powerful week, and there will be those around you, more on the national, international scale, but also on a more personal scale as well, because, you know, the narcissist in your life will sense it, sense that there's a lot to be gained this week. They will be trying to manipulate you, I would say, into thinking the wrong things, saying the wrong things, you know, declaring things that you don't want, shouting about things that you don't want, which is incredibly unhelpful. And we have to remember that we are sovereign beings. We are working to create our individual future, our individual good. We are working towards that. And we're not doing it alone, we're all doing it together, but we have to remember we are all sovereign beings and we don't need to be told what to do. In fact, we should not be told what to do. You know, that's when humanity is led astray. For example, we know it's wrong to kill. We know that's wrong, you know, and look at any world religion, it's going to tell you killing is wrong. But it's okay when the government tells you to do it. How is it suddenly right at that point because it's sanctioned by somebody sat on a big chair? You know, well, the king says it's okay to do it. No, it's not okay. It's still murder. So think very carefully about what you're being asked to think, to say, to believe, to get angry about this week. Be very, very careful because your energy is going to be very potent, and there will be those who will be trying to use that against you or use it for their own purposes and their own ill-gotten gains. So love is all around you always. Yes. Yes, that's the reminder. Okay, and I think there will be a lot to feel angry about this week as well. I think the media or those in positions of authority may actually be trying to enrage people more than usual this week. I mean, obviously that's been an ongoing theme for a while, hasn't it? And at times when it suits them, that's what they do. But I want to say this week in particular, it's a very important week for that. So remember to act from love, always act from love. Okay, always act from the heart, always come from the heart. And this one's written in green ink as well, 54:9. So act with wisdom. Yeah, but because the divine masculine wants to get things done, he likes to act. He is action, he is fire, he is Mars, you know, the planet, not the chocolate. And yeah, make sure you're coming from that solid foundation. Make sure you're acting, not reacting. That's so, so important. And that you're doing it coming from a loving place, not from a place of anger or frustration or hatred or, you know, any of those negative feelings. And if you feel yourself about to do that, I want to say that's when it's time to step out. Take a moment, take a breath, be silent, meditate, contemplate, take some time out and get yourself back in balance because you're so, so powerful this week. So let's take a look at romance and relationships this week. So this isn't just romantic relationships, this is also relevant to platonic relationships and family as well. Let's take a look what's going on here. Oops. Okay, so we have marriage and divorce. So yeah, some very big themes coming up in relationships at the moment. Maybe something very big that you need to look at, that you need to consider, you know, maybe taking the next step. Commitment, yes. And I put a dotted line on this one. I don't know if you can see that, but commitment, dotted line. So is it time to sign on the dotted line? And that could be a marriage, it can be a divorce, you know, it can just be stepping forwards, moving forwards together, signing a contract, buying a home together, you know, helping somebody with something. And I want to say, I want to bring in a little bit of caution here. Yes, relationships, if you want them to thrive, they do require a level of commitment. But there's quite a heavy energy coming in here. So for some people, it will be rather that you feel railroaded into a commitment. Maybe you're being asked to sign something that you're not comfortable with. Maybe you're being asked to be guarantor for somebody when you're not comfortable with doing that, or you don't think it's a good idea. So I want you to think very, very carefully because these are very, very big themes, not to be taken lightly at all. And again, the divine masculine likes to move fast, but we don't need to do that just yet. You know, we can, yes, of course, act from the heart, but take your brain with you. I think I was saying that last week as well. What do you need to let go of? Yeah, there's definitely some things to let go of before you can see what's going on quite clearly in your relationships at the moment. It may be some things in yourself, maybe some unhelpful or incorrect beliefs in yourself that you need to let go of. 6511-2. So again, it feels like some emotions that we need to let go of. Maybe we've been all up in our head or all up in our emotions and not thinking clearly, not having the full picture, maybe not looking at the full picture. We're only looking at one tiny little part of it this week. And there is something to let go of. So it may literally be a divorce. It may literally be signing, you know, divorce papers for some people. Obviously not for everyone. This is a group reading. Not everyone's getting divorced. Not everyone's married. But it's important, big, heavy themes. What do you need to let go of? It might be that in your relationship, you need to let go of resentment. Okay, or maybe you've been angry about something for a long time and you need to forgive the person for something that they've done that they're very, very sorry about, and they can't be even any more sorry, but you just won't let it go. Or it could be the other way around. It could be them that's holding the grudge. Anxiety and fear, yes, because that's what will hold you back from the transformation, from the change that you need. And you could find yourself entering another cycle of exactly the same thing if this isn't sorted out sort of around this time scale. So anxiety and fear on 3710-1. So there's a potential to start a new cycle here, but like I said, we can end up falling back into the old habits. And this is true of things on the world stage as well. You know, we can fall back into old habits. Oh no, this is happening, I don't like it. This politician says we should do this. Quick, let's get behind him. It's like, hang on. Last week you were saying that politicians are all liars and you don't trust any of them. Why do you suddenly trust this one because you're unhappy about something? So I want you to think very, very clearly and very carefully about things. I'm noticing that I'm putting out 4s here. I put 4 yellow cards, 4 pink cards. As you guys know, if you follow me or if you follow Cosmic Dragon, my other channel, I read intuitively, so I don't have a specific thread. I do have a thread sometimes. I don't have a specific layout that I use. So it's always interesting to see how I've been guided to put the cards out, because there's very often some meaning that we can glean there as well. So 4s, I'm putting out 4s, which is a very stable number. It can indicate hard work, stability, earth signs. You know, I want to go to Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, maybe not so much Taurus. Because Taurus can be a little bit emotional, but certainly Virgo and Capricorn energy I want to bring in this week. If you can lean into, if you have those in your chart, lean into them, okay, lean into those signs. If not, you know, maybe take advice from a Virgo or Capricorn friend. They may be very insightful this week. Let's take a look at the money oracle as well, see what we have here. Wealth and assets. So again, could be time for some financial advice to look at how you're planning things. Coming soon. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice indeed. Pot of gold. Yeah. And 2 want to come out here, so we're going to bring them both out together. Money, magic, and pounds, shilling, and pence. This is interesting. So coming soon, that's nice. There's a real sense of anticipation here. A real sense of anticipation of being able to create this week, to create projects, to begin projects, to progress a project, a business, to, you know, make changes and tweaks that will help you to be more financially wealthy or solvent, depending on what your position is at the moment. You know, it's going to be different for everybody, because some people are okay financially, other people not so much. But whatever your position is, it does feel like there's improvement which is available this week. With the pot of gold, that could be quite magical, quite a magical shift, a magical change. It's sat on top of the magic scarab beetle as well. And we've got money magic up here. So I feel like this would be a good week to do some sort of money spells, if you're into spell work, if you do that sort of thing. High magics, low magics, doesn't matter what it is. Or just something really, really simple. You know, it doesn't have to be like a full-on ceremony or something. You might just feel inspired to get one of these little Maneki Neko to help manifest some money for you. You know, you might see something in a shop, like some goldstone. Goldstone was our crystal last week. That one kept coming up. But I think there's going to be some inspiration here, some inspiration coming in that will actually help you financially on the longer term. Pound, shilling and pence. So there's a connection to the past here as well, because we don't use shillings anymore in this country, if you're not British. We have pounds and pence. We don't have pounds, shillings and pence anymore. So that's kind of almost like an old-fashioned energy coming in here. So it might be something, an old-fashioned way of doing things. Maybe it's something a bit retro coming in. Obviously it'll be individual, be different for everyone, whatever it is that comes up for you. Or it might be listening to advice from a grandparent, for example, from somebody from one of the older generations. They might have some real interesting insights coming in. So it's a very, very interesting energy financially. There's a lot of opportunity again here this week, which is to be expected when we're in this masculine energy that wants to charge forwards, that's quite empowered, balanced with the feminine this week. So not surprising at all. But I would say listen to your elders this week. You know, if you're lucky enough to have older people in your life, listen to them, because they're going to have some interesting insights this week, even if what they're saying is completely wrong, but it makes you think, you know, and it helps you to understand some things. It doesn't mean they're necessarily right. All the time they're not. Interesting though, magical energy for sure when it comes to money and manifesting. So let's just bring in the cat oracle here as well, see what they've got to add, see what they've got to say. Now these cards can have a bit of an attitude, a bit like Evie did, my little cat. Maneki Neko, so that's hilarious. Let's just bring him back in. Let's bring Maneki Neko back in. So it might be a week where you feel drawn to get Maneki Neko, or maybe to anoint yours. Mine's, you see his head's a little bit oily here, because I do actually anoint him with a money oil every so often, then I clean him off and I anoint him again. So yes, just some little things that you can do to help manifest a bit more money for yourself, or abundance or finance. So it is a good week, good work. A good week for money magic. Very interesting that he would show up again. Okay, what else have our little cats got to say to us? Tom. Okay, so the tomcat energy, so divine masculine coming in with the tomcat, but he's a very loving energy. The tomcat's very confident, he's very balanced within himself, but he is territorial, so there isn't a reminder to hold your boundaries here. Do what a tomcat would do. He doesn't allow anyone to trespass on his territory. You know, he doesn't take any crap. So tomcat energy coming in here. And also catnip. Well, catnip's fun. So there's a reminder here from the cats. Don't forget to have some fun, because it might be quite a serious energy, because there's some big heavy themes going on here. Could be a really, really kind of heavy week in many respects, and you might have some heavy responsibilities coming in, because tomcats have a lot of responsibility. They've got a big territory, you know, they've got to keep an eye on all the girls, you know, they're quite protective as well. And they're very strong, and they end up having fights about things, but they're very loving, very confident cats. But with the catnip, the reminder is to have some fun, some coming in on number 2 again, which is interesting. So another divine feminine energy coming in here. Remember to have fun this week. It's not all about doing the things. Sometimes it's about rolling around on your back looking like an idiot, rolling around in some catnip and just playing with your toys, and that's okay too. And then I've just got Sekhmet that wants to come in here. So goddess Sekhmet, the lion-headed goddess, very protective, very strong feminine energy. So the strong feminine could be very supportive to the masculine this week as well. So that is the overview for this week. That's this week kind of at a glance, the energy that we're looking at for the next 7 days. Next we are going to go day by day, looking at the days of the week, Monday through Sunday, finishing up with a spiritual guidance message at the end. You might have seen a couple of the dragon cards that I already put up on Instagram to give you a sneak peek there. We're also going to have some astrology dice, probably some of these numerology dice, and maybe some charms at the end as well. I will see you there if you are a member on Ko-fi. If you're watching on YouTube, please head over to Ko-fi. The link will be in the description below. And you can sign up to be a member, and you can watch the rest of this video and all of my weekly forecasts and more. I'll see you there. Thank you very much for watching. If you're not already a member of this channel on YouTube, Rumble or Odyssey, please do remember to join. And I will see you on Monday. Well, Monday's reading anyway. See you in a minute. And welcome to the members only portion of this video. Let's take a look at the days of the week now, beginning with Monday. Monday's cards, we have number 8, Consciousness, Happy Success. We have number 18, Dear Spirit, Bring a Gentle Touch. And we have number 4, Rest and Rejuvenate. So this is a gentle energy for Monday. That's quite a nice way to start the week, actually, because very often Monday can be quite stressful, but Monday almost feels like a second Sunday in some ways, which is interesting because it's not a bank holiday. I think people are still working normally. But there's almost like a refreshed feeling that comes through here. I love this card. I think this one showed up last week as well. This gorgeous sunny field, all these beautiful wildflowers here. And this person in this very blissful, energetic state here, aligning themselves with Source, with God. Very beautiful. 18:9. Yeah, the wisdom of knowing when to be gentle and when to be strong. There's great strength in being gentle, of course. Interesting day, 8 and 4. Okay, so I'm just looking at the numbers here. Very interesting numerology coming through. Because 8 and 4 normally I would associate with hard work, with getting things done, with keeping going. They can be exhausting numbers, you know. And yet there's a reminder here with these cards that actually life doesn't have to be so difficult. So it doesn't have to be such a slog. It doesn't have to be so stressful. It feels like Monday could actually be quite a restful, quite a relaxing day if you want it to be. I feel there is an opportunity maybe to kick back, maybe to have the day off, you know, if you work full time, or maybe to just approach things in a different manner, because there's such a gentle energy, such a relaxed energy that comes through on Monday. It feels like there is a better way of doing things, or it might just be that you're reminded that there is a better way of doing things if you're going to your, you know, sort of 9-to-5 job, if you're having enough, you know, if you've really had enough of the, you know, the grind, the 9-to-5 grind, and you're thinking, wow, there must be a better way of doing things. I feel like there is this nudge on Monday to say, yes, there is. You can work from home, you can work for yourself, there's all these other things you can do, you can manifest money in other ways, you can have a different lifestyle. It doesn't have to be this 9 to 5 grind, you know, like Henry Ford came up with the system of working where we're all little cogs in a big machine, faceless, worthless, valueless cogs, you know, interchangeable, replaceable, and we don't feel valued, we don't feel whole, we don't feel as valued as we should be, perhaps, or maybe we feel faceless, like we're just a number, not a person. I've heard that many times from people working in the corporate world, you know, in big companies in particular, that you're treated by like a number, and not in the good numerology way, but you know, you're not a robot. Okay, I think that's the reminder today. You're not a robot, you're not a machine. Okay, you need to be gentle with yourself. For some people, this could literally be a bit of a wake-up call that you need to rest. You have to take a break now. You can't keep doing this. And you can still be successful and take a break as well. It doesn't have to be work, work, work all the time. You can take holidays, you can take vacations, you can take breaks. All right, you don't have to be nose to the grindstone the whole time. That's not the only way to manifest things. If anything, that can be a slow way of manifesting abundance. That can be a very slow way to create the life you actually want. You can really be getting in the slow lane by doing that and exhausting yourself in the process. So there's a real question, I think, being asked here about your lifestyle on Monday, whether it's working for you, whether you're working too much, whether you need to take a break. You know, if there's a different way that you can approach life, live your life so that it can be gentler, it can be more enjoyable. Or maybe if you're already taking some time out for whatever reason, maybe if you're not very well and you have to take some time out, or you're not able to work full time, there is a reminder that you can still be successful without having a job as the world defines it at this point in time. Okay, that's quite a recent concept. That's not how it's always been. That's a very recent concept. There are many, many ways to manifest abundance, and the best way is to align yourself with source. That's it. Easy, huh? Yeah. Yeah, interesting energy, interesting questions coming up for Monday. Could be a very restful day, or the nudge coming in to rest and rejuvenate yourself, and maybe look in a different direction, maybe look to how you did things in the past. Maybe you've gone off-piste a little bit and you've ended up in a position you said you would never be in the workplace, for example. Keep going to work, so it does feel like the theme of work coming up very, very strongly, but it doesn't necessarily mean work. You know, you might be a homemaker, you might be retired, you know, you're not necessarily somebody in the workplace at this point in time. So, but the lessons still apply. I want to say the lessons still apply. So let's have a look at the Spirit Oracle here. So what they've got for us. Well, they're quite keen to speak. And following on from what I was saying, achievements come in all shapes and sizes. Yes, they do. Okay. I was talking to a friend recently, and they were, speaking about some concerns about getting older and saying, yes, but what have I achieved? And they were comparing themselves to other people, which is always a terrible thing to do. Okay, never compare yourself to other people. That's not helpful. They're not you. They haven't lived your life. You're not them. You haven't lived their life. Okay, and we have this misconception in society at the moment, particularly in the West, that to achieve, the only way that you can achieve is working. Oh, what have I worked? What jobs have I done? What money have I generated? What have I achieved? Am I famous? Am I rich? You know, that's not the only measure of abundance and achievement. Goodness, it's a very shallow measure, to be honest, of achievement, because lots of people have lots of money and they're deeply unhappy inside, and they're going to have many lifetimes to try and sort that crap out. Just because somebody is rich or famous or looks wealthy from the outside, looks good on paper, doesn't mean that they've made more achievements or better achievements than you have in your life. You know, they may be a terrible person. They may have caused untold suffering through their actions, you know, or they may have had a huge leg up and it might have just been really easy and they didn't actually have to do very much at all. You know, there's so many different ways to look at it, and you've got to remember that you are not the next person, so don't you dare compare yourself to them, okay, especially not unfavourably. Be still. Oh, interesting, because we had be silent in the overview. So yes, stillness, rest, meditation, I want to say, looking at the shadow self, so integrating the shadow today. So it's a good day for counselling, good day for meditation, for contemplation, for self-help, you know, if you're reading a self-help book or something, for understanding yourself on a deeper level and why you're so mean to yourself, why you're so hard on yourself. I've got 2 18s here, 18-9 coming up twice. Really looking at who you truly are. Are you trying too hard? Are you whipping yourself too much? Because you're an eternal being, and that's the reminder with 18-9. You are an eternal being. Okay, maybe it's time to stop trying so hard. Healer, healing, heal some whole. Yes, great day to do some healing. This is a card that I wrote. Heal some is a word I invented. Probably. I don't know if anyone else say it. It's not a real word. It is now. Yes, a great day for holistic healing, to really taking care of all aspects of yourself. And I can feel my voice going a bit more gentle here. I want you to be very gentle with yourself on Monday. Might be a day to get a massage, to go to the sauna, you know, have a nice spa day, have a nice treatment, you know, have a nice bath, you know, give yourself treatment, get the candles out, you know, whatever it is, meditate. I think meditation is very, very helpful on Monday, but be very gentle with yourself. What brings you happiness and joy? Yes, because that's the point of this lifetime. What brings you joy? That's the point. That's the real achievement. The real achievement is to be joyful, is to be integrated, is to feel calm inside, to feel love towards other people. Okay, to in a calm way, in a integrated way, in a whole way. I want to say whole with a W, is to become whole, to remember that we are all one, and that we are all one with our source as well. So there's some very deep spiritual lessons that can come through here, and the reminder that abundance is for everyone. Yes, it is. Shows up in different ways. Definitely shows up in different ways, and many of us are still working on generating the abundance of money, because that's not something that everyone does quite easily at this point in time, and there are lots of reasons for that. That's quite a difficult lesson, but there are so many other forms of abundance. Like this card says, achievement comes in all shapes and sizes. What does your abundance look like? Okay, you may have an abundance of love, of people around you, of wonderful experiences, you know, of beautiful spiritual insights, of cats, I don't know. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't always have to be money. It's not all about the money. Okay, it's not all about the money. Money's great, but don't beat yourself up if you don't have it yet, or if you don't have enough, or you don't feel like you have enough of it yet. You're doing okay. You're doing great. In fact, I want to say do less on Monday. Let's take a look at romance, relationships, platonic relationships here for Monday. So, Love Addicts Anonymous. Interesting, we've got another 33 coming through. So we've got 33 on this card, 33 on that one. 33 is the Christ consciousness, but it can also be its reverse, which is what you might call the devil or the satanic energy, 33-6. So it can be when we are so far out of alignment that we do completely the wrong thing, whereas 33 would be being in alignment with Source, being in alignment with the energy of heaven, which is a beautiful place to be in, which is the energy that avatars would be in. An avatar being an evolved soul that doesn't actually need to be here because they're so far evolved. They're just choosing to be here for whatever reason. And it can be its exact opposite, which is the least evolved type of energy, the darkest, heaviest, most difficult type of energy. So very difficult people could be showing up on Monday. Or maybe it's aspects of you that need looking at. Maybe it's time for some honesty with that 18 coming in twice there, which in tarot would be the moon. What aspects are you hiding of yourself that actually need to be addressed? And I see this a lot in like the spiritual world and holistic world. You meet a lot of people who work in sort of similar fields to me, whether it's holistic well-being, spirituality, working with psychic energy, with mediumship. And because they're so desperate to be seen to be good at what they do, they try and pretend that they don't have any flaws or any faults anymore. They try and pretend that they're perfect. And it's a very toxic trap to fall into, but you see a lot of people falling into this. Oh, well, I'm a spiritual teacher, you know, I want to teach Reiki and teach people about spirituality, so I have to make out that I'm perfect to everyone. And some of these people probably believe that they are, because some people have a really big ego, which again is that inverted 33 energy. Like I have met people who tried to tell me they don't feel anger anymore, and this is somebody that I knew quite well, and I was like, seriously? You trying to tell me you don't feel anger anymore? Oh, okay. Why were you just shouting at that person over there then? Ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. You know, if somebody tries to be your guru, you probably want to step away from them. You know, we are at this point in this world right now it's very noticeable right now in 2023, you know, and the couple of years previous. We're in an age of what I call the toppling of the gurus, and it's absolutely necessary, where they're either toppling themselves or they're being toppled by people pointing out, oh yes, but they did this, they're not perfect, they've done that, they've been accused of this, you know. Of course they're not perfect, they're human beings. Nobody's expected to be perfect, okay? That's okay. Just we have to realise that we can get good information from someone, we can get a good message from someone spiritually, we can get good insights from somebody, but it doesn't mean that we should bow and scrape before them. Okay, and that's the difference with the age of Pisces. As we move into Aquarius, we are reminded that we are all the sovereign beings. We are all spiritual beings in human form. And yes, we can get information from spiritual teachers, which we may or may not agree with. Okay, it might challenge us, might heal us, might help us to have more insight in our life, but that doesn't mean we should bow and scrape ahead of, in front of them, kneel in front of them and say, oh, you're the great guru, I'm a piece of crap in front of you. You know, no, that's the old way of doing things. That is not the new energy we are moving into. Okay, so it's about the message, not the messenger. Okay, the message is what's important, not the messenger. So work together for each other, 48. Oh, that's nice. I like that. So there may be a little nudge here, maybe to work with family, work with some loved ones on a project, or maybe even moving into a business together. And I would say be careful. That's not as easy as it sounds. Working with loved ones can be incredibly challenging. Okay, speaking of someone who's done it, it may not be the right thing to do. Never allow yourself to be railroaded into working with a partner or husband or spouse or whatever. Or even a friend, because speaking from personal experience, that can go very, very badly wrong. Okay. Right. Hard-won results. Long-term relationship. Yeah. So we are going to be asked to look at our relationships, I think, on Monday. So this is very much the theme coming in, quite a heavy theme this week, as we saw in the overview, of looking at our relationships, considering them from quite a serious standpoint, I think, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. You know, it's just sort of putting them under a magnifying glass this week. Understanding the changes that we've made in relationships, the positive change we've been able to achieve in our relationships. You know, this reminder with hard-won results that the relationships take work. All right, it's not just about you show up at the altar and that's it, and everything's happily ever after. There is no happily ever after. That doesn't exist. That's not a thing. That's a lie. I was very disappointed when I found out that that was a lie and that wasn't a real thing. Having heard it so many times in nursery rooms. Oh, yay, I get to live happily ever after. Nope. Sorry, you don't. Yes, again, serious relationships coming up. We are also being asked about possible codependency here as well. Are we too reliant on other people or on other people's opinions of us? Are we in a difficult relationship? You know, is the other person working with you, or are they working against you in the relationship? So some difficult questions, I think, coming up here, but not necessarily bad ones. It does feel like a moment to sort of do an assessment of the relationship, to actually stop and have a look at it, do an assessment, see what you've achieved together, or if you're on your own, what have you achieved on your own, looking at past relationships, understanding some of the patterns there. I think that could be a very insightful day. Again, it's this shadow work that we can be doing on Monday that will be very, very revelatory, very helpful, very insightful. So let's take a look at the money oracle, see what we've got financially coming up on Monday. Okay, ooh, you might come out, don't you? Gifts of time and money, 55, 10, 1. That's nice. That comes in with some help there, actually. Don't forget where you came from. I could say that to a few people in the spiritual community. Anyway, don't forget where you came from on 16, 7. Okay, what else have we got? Dollar bills. Okay, mastering money mindfulness. Yes. Mastering money mindfulness, not mindset, mindfulness. Okay, so quite quite a spiritual look at money today, actually. Dollar bills, yeah, definitely some financial opportunity there. Could be somebody literally giving you money, giving you a raise, offering to help you with something that will be lucrative. So again, work together for each other. This could be a family member or a friend who can actually genuinely help you in work, in business, helping to make some money. Don't forget where you came from. Yeah, there are people maybe in your family who want to help you. You know, maybe it's time to reconnect with somebody that you've lost contact with, you know, as long as they're not bad for you. You know, I'm never going to advocate that if you've had to step away from people because they're abusive. But there could be a connection here to the past, somebody from your past actually stepping forward to help you when it comes to money and finance. Yeah, there's a lot of money sort of floating around in the system on Monday as well. It's almost like I can see a sea of dollar bills in front of me. There's a lot of money floating around in the system, so there's a lot to be had. There is financial opportunity, I want to say, on Monday. There is opportunity. And I think the best way to approach it, in my opinion, is to get a handle on your mindset, get a handle on your mind. And I'm always talking about Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. I'm going to recommend it again if you haven't read it, or to revisit if you have. He's also got another book, which actually my eyes fell on the other day, called A New Earth, which is kind of a sequel, which is great. I also recommend that one. Brilliant books, brilliant author, very, very insightful man. So interesting. There are some opportunities maybe to work together with some people, maybe some people from your past coming up on Monday. It's not the easiest day, but there is this reminder to be very gentle with yourself, very kind to yourself, please, on Monday, because it's a tricky one. It's going to bring up, I think, a lot of things going to come up. I think Monday could bring up a lot of stuff, a lot of issues that we need to look at, a lot of things within ourselves that we need to heal, that we need to look at so that we can bring in great improvements into our lives, bring in achievements, and look at the achievements we've already made as well. Okay. Because I think you've done more with your life than you think you have. In fact, I know you've done more in your life than you think you have. You've achieved more than you think you have, because heaven's always watching, even when there's nobody else there. Okay. I want to bring in the astrology dice today. Let's have a look, see what we've got for Monday. What tendencies we've got here. We have Jupiter, Gemini, and we have the 5th house. Now, interesting, because Jupiter is about expansion, is about luck and money. So that could be quite a fortunate omen to see him showing up today. So Gemini, obviously about communication, can also be opposites as well. So maybe there's a lack of communication when it comes to money and finance in your life. Maybe that's what you need to work on together. But 5 is self-expression. It's kind of that Leo energy coming in here, which is interesting to me because in my birth chart I actually have Jupiter in Leo, which is why I'm a little bit outgoing when you get me on a stage. Yeah, so I'm kind of drawn to say it could be making money by putting yourself out there a little bit, you know, opportunity coming in by putting yourself out there. Expressing yourself, communication. We had the throat chakra in the overview being very important, so it could be about self-expression, it could be writing a book, it could be doing speaking, could be having a YouTube channel. I feel there is opportunity here for good fortune. I want to say good fortune and financial abundance, of course, today. So that's an interesting energy to be seeing. Let's see if we've got any cat cards that want to come out here. I think we're only going to have one of these. Let's see which one it is. And it's that one. Chasing your tail. Oh, you don't want to be doing that. Yes, and that's interesting because the cats don't pull any punches, and I feel like they want to say, where in your life are you chasing your tail? Where are you spinning your wheels? Where are you not actually achieving what you want to do and you're just going around in circles? And it can be fun to chase your tail for a bit. Okay, and it comes in on 15-6, so it's kind of devil energy coming in here, devil in the tarot, which is about being stuck in patterns or thinking you can't change, thinking that you're a slave to a system or to your feelings or to your impulses and lower urges. But where are you chasing your tail in life? Because it does feel like the cats, gosh, they have no tact whatsoever, are saying maybe there is something that you could do that's actually quite obvious and quite big that you've been avoiding looking at. So let's move on to Tuesday now. Okay, so let's take a look at Tuesday's cards. We have number 1, Spirit, the vast universe. We have the B spirit, sweet results await. Oh, I'm liking these. Number 2, intuition. Interesting. So numbers we're getting showing up a lot this week. We've got 2, 5, 7. I want to bring in 33 as well, but 2, 5 and 7 in particular. So they may show up on your path in some way, shape or form. But the vast universe, wow. There's a real reminder here that we can have, do, be, achieve so much more than we actually genuinely think we can. We really belittle ourselves as human beings, and it's not our fault. You know, we live in this society that tells us we're small and lowly and unimportant, and we have to keep our nose clean and work hard and be a good little ant, good little worker bee. But I want to tell you that that's actually not the truth. You're not a machine and you're not a bee. Okay, the worker bees have to work incredibly hard for the hive, but you're not a bee. You're a free agent. You're a sovereign being. You're not supposed to work, and then die. That's not the point. You're here to experience joy, to bring more joy to the world, to help to expand the energy that we're living in, to learn, to grow, to experience new things. It's a wonderful energy we are here to experience in this lifetime. It's a very exciting energy that we live in, that we exist in. It's a wonderful place. We are here to experience ourselves experientially. We are, in the words of Neil Donald Walsh, we are God-godding. We are God having an experience if God wasn't God. And if that blows your mind, I do recommend Neil Donald Walsh series of books, Conversations with God. Very interesting, very they're very meaningful to me, very, very helpful to me as well on my spiritual journey, on my spiritual path. Very insightful books. So I'm bringing a couple of cards here from the Akashic Tarot because these ones are calling to me today. So we have number 7 of Scrolls, Intricacies and Industry, and the King of Keys. Yeah, very interesting that we'd have such an industrious card next to a bee. Okay, and on the one hand, the bee card can be wonderful because it's about sweet results, the honey, you know, the results from your hard work. Bit of a mystical 7 going on there as well, and bees all working together, which is great. You know, bees are very fortunate omen generally when it comes to finances. And another 7 here as well. So these cards kind of mirroring each other here. Intricacies and Industries. This is a very hard-working card. Look, somebody rebuilding a church, literally, and rebuilding a ruin. Maybe trying to bring back the sacred to a place where it had been forgotten. Maybe trying to rebuild something that used to be there. And I think, I want to say that's the message for Tuesday, is to bring back the sacred where it was forgotten. And that doesn't mean you have to go and build a church somewhere. You know, I don't follow any religions, you know. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. What I want to say is to bring the sacred back into everyday life. Bring that, that's what I was saying in the overview, it's the mundane meets the arcane, so the spiritual meets the everyday. Bring the spiritual back into your life and you will notice how it transforms in front of your eyes. And this is something that has been sort of a lifelong lesson for me, is to bring the spiritual into my everyday life, because they are not separate. How could they be? How could your spiritual life be separate from your everyday life because you're a spiritual being having human experience? You are a spiritual being. So everything that you do is spiritual and sacred too. And if we approach life in that manner, that's when we can really bring in real change. And when we forget that, when we forget that we are these amazing spiritual beings, and I just want to add a little asterisk here, that there are dark powers who have a lot of positions of authority, who have great interest in us not finding that out, who absolutely do not want us to know that, do not want us to remember that. When we can remember that, our lives can absolutely transform in front of us. I love the King of Keys here, moving forwards at this beautiful leisurely pace on this gorgeous horse. There's a lovely castle over there. Yes, you can be the king of your own life, I want to say. You can be more confident when you remember who you truly are, and you're not some lowly peasant that has to bow and scrape. I've said bow and scrape a lot this week. Don't do it. Intuition, yeah. Being guided by the divine feminine, intuition coming in here. Intuition going to be very strong on Tuesday. I think as well there could be a new direction or it's not necessarily a complete change, maybe a minor course correction coming in here, for an easier life, I want to say, particularly when it comes to work, particularly when it comes to not struggle, that's not the word I want, definitely don't want struggle. When it comes to the activity that we do that we find meaningful, the thing that we do, for example, which for many people is work. Maybe a bit of a reframe coming in here on Tuesday, a bit of a reframe of how we see the world, how we see our career, the things that we've achieved in our lives. It does feel like there's a big reframe coming in, and some great spiritual inspiration coming in here as well. So you might be getting some downloads from your guides, from the angelic realms, from Spirit on Tuesday. Let's see what else Spirit has to say to us here. Let's have a look. Get up and go do the thing. Yes, why wait? Why wait? Do the thing that you want to do. Spirit is on the line, answer the call. Oh, they're cheeky. Love it when they do that. So yes, literally, Spirit will be trying to get in touch on Tuesday. There could well be some signs, some messages coming through for you. It might be that you meditate and you hear them more clearly than usual, or you have a sense of something. It doesn't have to be the most clear or obvious message, because very often it's not, and we have to look for the signs, we have to look for the omens as well. I can hear a lot of birds outside. Very often I will look to birds for omens. They're very, very powerful. They will always speak to us. The signs and symbols are all around us in the world. If we choose to look for them, you can see them in clouds. Birds will show them to you. Words, things that you hear, things that you see, that the messages are all around us in this universe. So we just have to remember and pay attention to them. Passion requires follow through on 48. Interesting, another 48. I had one yesterday. Yes, it does. And if you decide you want to do something, you have to actually do it. You can't just wait for it to drop in your lap. So if you want to change your career, you have to do it. Get up and go do the thing and carry on with it. And it feels like Spirit will be absolutely leading the way. So whatever the change is, and it may be major, could be very small, whatever the change is that you want in your life, it is possible. And there is this nudge coming in on Tuesday. For a course correction, I want to say, a reminder that you are not a cog in a machine, that you are very important, and I think your spiritual path could really come sort of front and centre on Tuesday as well, so that's going to be interesting to see where that goes. Cat energy. Okay, I'm going to bring the cat oracle in a second, but cat energy, yes, boundaries. Cats know what they want, and if they don't get it, they will meow and scream the place down till they get it. Or they'll go and find someone else to give it to them. That cats don't generally take no for an answer, or they don't take it very well if they do. So I want to say, unleash your inner cat. There's a lot of cats coming through this week. I'm actually using this little cat oracle, which you guys know I don't normally use. Let's bring in the cats now. So, the vet. Oh no. Cat fight. Interesting. So the vet is the thing that we don't want to do, that maybe we should do. Or maybe we don't need. So yeah, I think there's some hard decisions coming in. Cat fight. Oh my goodness, why do cats fight? They fight for love, they fight for territory, they fight for things that are important to them. Obviously we have the colloquialism of a cat fight, women fighting. So it could literally be women arguing, fighting in your life. Maybe you need to draw a boundary with your mother and your sister having a spat or something, or your wife and your mother, I don't know. Or it could be you and your mother-in-law or something. But certainly boundaries needed here. I think there's a combative feminine energy coming in on Tuesday. And also it's time to have a look at some things that we have to do, or we think we have to do, that are unpleasant. Do we really have to do them? Are we just avoiding them? Is it something that's better to get it over with? Could be something literally to do with your health that comes up as well. We've got the vet coming up here, so the veterinarian. Could be a health issue that needs looking at. Could be connected to the heart as well, the physical heart, because we've got 42-6, sixth number of the heart and the sacred chalice. So it could be literally a heart issue that you need to go to the doctor about if you think you're not well. Yeah, so interesting old energy. Let's bring in the money oracle next. I'm going completely backwards with these cards now. Okay, let's see what we've got for money and finance. On Tuesday we have a season for everything. Wealth and assets. Yeah. Okay. So it may not be the moment to actually be thinking about money today. Okay. Money doesn't always have to be, the be all and end all. Or it's not always the thing that has to be motivating us, driving us all the time. In fact, it shouldn't be, in my opinion. I think joy, happiness should be the thing that drives us and motivates us. Money can be a part of that, absolutely, 100%, but it shouldn't be the thing. All right, wealth and assets, interesting. So there's a little nudge here, maybe to have a look at your savings. Maybe it's time to spend some of those savings on some, or investments on something that you actually want. Maybe it's time to cash them in rather than leaving for them for a rainy day. Maybe the rainy day is today. Maybe it's time to retrain in something. Maybe you want to make a change. Maybe you want to move to another country. Okay, so have a look at that. Have a think about what you can do with your money, because just like everything, money has its seasons as well. Okay, an Aquarian age abundance. Yes, exactly what I was talking about. This new, I guess, new philosophies that we will be adopting as we move more and more into the age of Aquarius as the years go by over the next couple of 100 years. So yes, understanding the true meaning of abundance, understanding that money is just an energy of exchange, that it is, these energies are limitless. They can't be created or destroyed. They're always there for us on 61.7. So really the individual, the desire for action perhaps actually leading the heart, because the heart might be a little bit afraid of some financial changes today. Obviously, I don't give financial advice. You guys know this isn't financial advice, but there may be some impetus here to make a change financially, to make some changes, whether it's spending some money, cashing something out. It feels like there could be you want to invest in yourself, take the money out of the account, invest in yourself. That could be something you feel inclined to do on Tuesday, and the heart could be a little bit shy of doing that, so that it could bring up some difficult emotions. It could bring up some inner conflict, I feel, that might need to be looked at here. So let's just bring in the romance cards. But if it's the right thing, it's okay. You don't have to have savings just because your mother said you have to have savings. Your situation is unique to you. You have to do what's best for you. So, sacred soulmate. Ooh. Completion or fulfillment. Oh, okay. All right. 1 and 66. I can't remember how many cards there actually are in this pack. It might be, it's around the 66 mark, so it's almost like we've got the Alpha and Omega cards coming out, the beginning and the ending cards. I think 66 might be my final card actually in this deck. I'd have to count them and tell you for sure. But yes, the beginnings and ends, beginning and ending, Alpha and Omega, very, very sacred energy when it comes to relationships today. Soulmate relationships absolutely highlighted. So it could be that you want to move away to be with somebody, and that's why you're in two minds about whether you should cash in your pension plan or something. I don't know. I can't give you any advice about that, but I think there could be some difficult questions to ask yourself about money and finances. And I think it comes down to what you actually want. What you want, regardless of what you think you should do. I don't want you to should yourself. I do always say that. Don't should yourself. Do the thing that you actually want to do. It may be the right thing. It may be a challenging path. Maybe an easy one. You don't know. You don't know in advance. But there's certainly, the head wants to do something and the heart might be a little bit afraid. So just to bear that in mind. Yes, I've just been looking through my cards here, just having a look. And yeah, 66 is the final card. So it's beginnings and endings in relationships, but in a good way. So it's almost like a relationship could end today, or it could enter a new phase, really go up a notch. Not necessarily an ending. I feel that's, I don't want to talk about endings so much, but it will be for some people because of course there's a group reading, but sacred soulmate relationships going to the next level is more what I want to talk about today, although it could be an ending literally for some people. But I think if it's an ending, I think there's another person coming in hot on their heels, so it doesn't feel like you would be left on your own for any significant amount of time. So I actually want to do charms. All right. We've lost a candle. Oh dear. Let's bring another one in. Swap that one out. There we go. Let's bring in some charms. All right, I'm guided to do these, so let's see what messages we have for Tuesday in our little charms. Okay. Interesting. So we've got a little fairy sat on a star. I love this one. It's kind of wish upon a star energy, and I want to marry it up to the vast universe card that we had at the beginning. So there's a very magical, mystical energy that comes in. I mean, this is the energy for the week. We had the scarab, didn't we, in the overview? The scarab beetle is a very magical, mystical energy. Actual connection to fairies for some people, a literal connection to fairies or fairy energy. We've got the sun and moon energy. I don't know if this is supposed to be a sun or a moon. I kind of, how I see it, it looks to me like a moon and half the moon, half the sun together. So that's how I interpret it, because that's how my guides are kind of talking to it about me. So sun and moon coming to balance. We had just had the equinox as well, which is nice. So there could be actually a connection to something that happened on or around the equinox, around Ostara, which I think was the 22nd of March or the 23rd maybe, but something connected to earlier this month, I think, which could be very positive, very fortunate for you. We've also got a little dinosaur here. Now that's very cute. It could be literally a connection to dinosaurs for some people watching, but are you a bit of a dinosaur when it comes to relationships? I want to say, are you a bit old-fashioned? Because that might be something that needs to change. Or are you a bit old-fashioned when it comes to money? Because this Aquarian energy is very strongly coming in today, and I think we're going to notice new innovations popping up. Wow, and we have Pegasus, the flying horse. I do want to bring in a connection to Pegasus, to the constellation of Pegasus here. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but that's what I'm drawn to say. Connection to astronomy today. I think it's a day to look at the stars, astronomy and astrology as well, but very, very interesting energy today. Lots of questions being asked, and of course that this the flying horse could be very meaningful for you personally as well. So let's move on to Wednesday. And Wednesday's cards, we have number 6, Events Milestone. Number 51, 6, Sandpiper Spirit, Be Playful. And 4, Firm Foundation. Okay, I'm liking these cards a lot for Wednesday, actually. Wednesdays very often carry something of a melancholy energy to them, but today feels really good. I like these cards that are coming out. Very positive, very uplifting energy here, very supportive energy coming through for Wednesday. I'm liking these a lot. So there could literally be something to celebrate here on Wednesday, you know, whether it's something large or small, whether it's a wedding, an achievement, an award, or literally just being able to get together and spend time with people that you don't normally get to see. It could be some sort of reunion, but there's gorgeous, playful, light energy coming through for Wednesday. And with the Firm Foundation, it's a very solid day, very grounded day. I think it's a day where you can feel quite positive in yourself, quite good in your body as well. So we may be feeling quite high on Wednesday, which is nice, almost like some giddy highs are possible, I think, on Wednesday. Very positive day. I think it's a day where we can look back at our achievements as well, and I think following on from Tuesday, it's almost like the universe wants to give us some proof that yes, we have actually done a lot in our lives. We've done more than we think we have. We've achieved more than we think we have, and now it's time to play. Now it's time to party, because playtime is so important. So I do want to bring that in. There's definitely a party atmosphere here on Wednesday. But I feel as well that there will be more work to do, because the person on this card is in front of a mountain. So yes, the firm foundation, the ground beneath our feet is there supporting us, but there's also this mountain to climb as well. And we have the pyramid here as well. So I want to say there is work. We can see there's a lot to do in the future, but there's no need to feel down about it today. So if you have a lot that you have to do coming up, maybe at work, maybe in your life for whatever reason, you know, you've got a lot on your plate and you can see you're going to be very busy for the next few months or few years, that's okay. You are allowed to take time out. You are still allowed to enjoy yourself, even if you feel like everything's work at the moment. Even if you have been working too hard. And again, it's another number 4 coming in. We had 4 on Tuesday with Rest and Rejuvenate, I think. But very playful, positive energy, good day for spending time with children, you know, get them to remind you what it's like to play just for the fun of it, not because you have to win or achieve anything or do anything, just play for play's sake is what I want to bring in. And a little reminder coming through that you are loved. Oh, that's beautiful. What a gorgeous energy for Wednesday. I think this could be a really positive day if you let it. A really positive day if you don't let yourself get dragged down by responsibilities or things that you have to do in the future, or you get caught up in anxieties about the future. I think if you can stay in the present, this can be a really, really great day. Very positive day. Okay, what else do we have? Passion requires follow through coming up for the second time. Yes. But follow through requires passion. I just want to say that. Yeah, we're not going to do the follow through if we're not passionate about what we're doing, if we don't care about what we're doing. You know, we might do it grudgingly because we think we have to, but yes, passion requires follow through. If you want to achieve something, if you're excited about something, you have goals, aims that you want to do, things that you care about that are important to you. Yes, to achieve your goals, you have to follow through even when it's difficult. But equally, I do want to say, flipping it on its head, follow through requires passion. Otherwise, why the hell would you bother? Why would you keep pushing forwards if it's something you don't care about, don't like, don't want to do, maybe don't even agree with? And again, there could be some questions coming up with your life's direction at the moment, perhaps with your career in particular. Are you following the path that is in alignment with your personal integrity? And I just want to ask that question. Are you acting in line with your own personal integrity, or are you doing something that's out of integrity because you think that's what you have to do to earn some money, to pay the bills? Because I can assure you it's not. It might feel like that at the moment, but that will put you energetically kind of at loggerheads with yourself, and it can make it very difficult to be in the energy that you want to be in and to manifest the things that you want to manifest if you are literally contradicting yourself through your actions. Okay, so maybe some difficult choices could be flagged up today as well, but it's an underlying party theme, but it could be actually the good times, the party, the happiness that actually make you think about, what am I doing? You know, you could be on holiday at a party, having a really great time with people, seeing their lifestyle, how they do things, and think, what on earth am I doing this for? This other thing that you're doing, you know. So some wake-up calls. Everybody's teaching you something about yourself. Yes, absolutely. What I was saying about spending time with children today, I think it may be time to learn to actually take a load off, time to learn how to enjoy yourself again and not try so hard, not work so hard, because abundance is for everyone. Yes, you may have a mountain to climb, but guess what? You don't have to do it alone. You don't even have to climb it. You can still be abundant without getting to the top, getting to the peak. You don't have to get up there. It's not that you get to the top of the mountain and that's where the pot of gold is. Okay, it doesn't have to be that hard. It really doesn't. And you cannot raise others up by lowering yourself down. Yes, quit playing small already. Goodness me. You know who you are, if I'm talking to you. Stop playing so small. You're important. You matter. You are loved. Okay, all of these lovely positive messages coming through today, and they may literally be coming through from people in your life today as well. So remember that you matter, and it doesn't have to be all hard work and slog. So let's look at the romance relationships cards. Oops. Cat person, dog person. Romantic getaway. So yes, it could literally be like a holiday day today. It's definitely got a holiday feel to it, party feel to it. You may be planning to go away on holiday. You might actually be on holiday today. Take some time together. Wisdom and experience. Yes. I want to say that wisdom and experience will teach you that things don't have to be as hard as maybe you think they do. Maybe you're resisting doing some work on a relationship because you think it will be harder than it actually will be, or more challenging, or that you won't be able to do it. And that I found that very sad. A lot of people shy away from doing things, particularly working on relationships. You know, they'll do the work at work because they're like, oh, this is easy, I know how to do this, I'm just using my mind. But when it comes to doing emotional work, oh no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. It's too big, too scary. I'm going to pretend I don't care, or that I think it doesn't matter. If that's you, it may be time to actually look at why you're not doing your emotional work, why you're not working on feeling your feelings, understanding your feelings, understanding yourself. But there is this exciting romantic getaway energy here as well. So you could literally be swept off your feet today or sweep someone else off their feet. Because it is a nice day to actually have some quality time with your loved one, with the take some time together card there as well. But cat person, dog person is definitely a moment to look at differences. Definitely a good day to do that, to consider what work needs to be done coming from wisdom and experience, or maybe you need to listen to some wisdom, to somebody who has some experience about how to improve relationships, you know, because you may be very different from your loved one or the person you want to be with, and you're not sure how to approach that because you're so different. But ultimately, we're all one, okay? And there's always a solution. Okay. May not be what we want here, but there's always a solution. Oh, okay. Right then, out we come from the Money Oracle. We have unlimited supply. I love how that comes out with "you are loved." Yes, so important. It's all about abundance today, all about abundance of everything. Gambling and losses. Oh, okay. And I just want to say, you never really lose in life. I don't advocate gambling. I mean, if if it's something you like to do, fair enough. I like to go on the roulette wheel sometimes myself. I like to test my psychic ability. It's always fun. I guess what numbers are coming up. Unlimited supply. Yes, on zero. So unlimited potential. I feel like Wednesday really does have an unlimited potential. Okay, and it could be literally about making money. It could be a new opportunity or an idea, a spark of inspiration that comes through on Wednesday. Gambling and losses. I actually want to tie this in with relationships as well. Yes, sometimes you do have to take a loss. Sometimes you do have to gamble. You do have to take a chance in a relationship, just like in gambling with money sometimes. And in business, you have to take chances as well. But to remind you that it's okay for you to take chances. You're still loved even if you quote unquote lose. Okay, because losing in work, in business, in money, it's just a learning opportunity. That's all it is. Yeah, it might be inconvenient for a little while after that, but it's just a learning opportunity. So I quite like risk taking myself. I'm not like a huge risk taker, but I do enjoy taking business risks. I do like to do a few of those on a very small level. So yeah, it may be time to think about taking a risk, maybe with your heart, maybe, with a business, with an idea, with something that inspires you. Because there is unlimited supply in the universe. There's enough for everybody. There's so much for everybody. So much. Okay, let's see what the cats have to say. Something tactless, undoubtedly. Oops, got one jumping out there. Fleas, literally jumping out. Alley cat. Street cat named Bob. Catfluencer. Now, if you don't know a street cat named Bob, quite a famous book was written about him. He was an actual cat who existed. I think it was in London. A homeless man adopted him and started carrying him around with him. He became quite a famous figure in London. He's now sadly passed on. He's got a film and everything. But catfluencer, being an influencer, being known. Okay. Now, Bob never actually did anything apart from to show up. Okay, yeah, he'd ride around on this guy's shoulder and he'd be sitting there when he was busking. But he never did anything. But he was a very, very influential public figure all around the world. So what makes you think you have to do a load of amazing things to be seen, to be important? Okay. And I think it's interesting because it is something that humanity as a whole, is starting to learn, starting to understand collectively. And this is why we see influencers on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is. You don't have to be anything particularly special or clever. You just have to know that you're special, and other people will see it too. And I think there's an important lesson that we can learn from influencers there. No, they don't have to be the best at something. They don't have to be the most learned, most clever, the most pretty, whatever. But they do have to know their own value. And I think we can learn a lot there. And from cats know their own value too. They absolutely know their own value. Fleas literally jumping out. Now, this could be literally fleas because it is that time of year, and I wrote a blog about that on my Cat Lady website because I'm a part-time cat sitter and behaviourist, and I do cat Reiki because you guys know I'm a Reiki teacher as well, so there's a bit of crossover there, which is always fun. But fleas. What's getting on your wick? What's irritating you? What's annoying you at the moment? What needs to be eradicated from your life? Okay, what needs a bit of a clean up to get rid of some annoying, pesky irritation in your life? What needs to change? That's the question I'm going to ask. And alley cat. Oh, so the alley cat is the homeless cat, the one that doesn't have a home. But he doesn't feel sorry for himself. He just gets on with his life. Bit of a ruffian as well, though. Bit of a ruffian. And again, I want to go to cat person, dog person next to the alley cat as well. So it could be that you're very different or come from a very different socioeconomic class from the person that you're interested in or involved with. Okay, so just to be aware that that doesn't have to be a problem, because it comes with a very positive 24/6, which is a master builder number. Okay, so even if you think you're undeserving, and I want to say this is about, like this one, it is about self-worth. I want to bring in the energy of self-worth with these two cards here. Get rid of the things that irritate you and focus on your self-worth, because there's a lot that you can do and build, I think, from today and moving onwards, because it's quite an exciting, uplifting energy. Get rid of the niggling things that are really annoying you, and I think things will be a lot more positive. Any cat will tell you that. If they get rid of fleas, they feel much better. Feel much better. That's why they roll around in the dust, to try and eradicate parasites. And again, it could be about literally parasites. Who is being parasitic in your life? Who is taking advantage of you? Who is sucking you dry? And that could be financially, that could be your time, it could be your energy, it could be an emotional parasite, an emotional vampire in your life that you need to deal with. Yeah. Have a look, see how that applies to you. So, I'm going to bring in some numerology dice here. We're going to bring in all of them? No, just these three. Okay then. I'm going to bring in these three. Get some numbers for Wednesday. We have number 1, putting number 1 first. Number 12, perfect governance, and 70. Ooh, a new beginning of a devotional cycle, I want to say, in your life. Really stepping into your own. So the numbers today, 1, 12, 70. Use them as you wish. Play the lottery if you want. I don't know. Do they go up to 70 in the lottery? I don't know. So number 1, yes, I do want to talk about putting yourself first, valuing yourself, taking care of number 1, but also remembering that you have plans, that you have dreams, there are things that you want to do, that you would like to do in the world. 12, number of perfect governance. It's a very balanced number, 12-3. It allows us to plan. It allows us to be in control of our lives. So it's quite a controlled energy. So it's quite a cranial energy on Wednesday. But it has this powerful spiritual edge. So it does feel like we are moving into a new spiritual cycle, perhaps. Maybe have a look at your astrology. You might be having your Saturn return or something at the moment, which happens every, 29 years? Yeah, it feels like a new cycle, very devotional, very mystical, very spiritual as well here, but perfectly balanced. So not moving into a spiritual phase in your life as in, you sell all your earthly possessions and you walk around barefoot and think, oh no, what have I done? It's very measured, very balanced energy on Wednesday, very measured, very sensible energy, very much in control, but devotional, very powerful as well. So it's almost like religion. When I look at 12 and 70 together, it's almost like the beginning of a new religion. Maybe it is. I mean, maybe somebody is starting a new religion. That'd be interesting. Wonder what it would be. So, on that note, let's move on to Thursday. So Thursday's cards, we have number 3, energy, letting go. 54, know your worth, what we were just saying on Wednesday. And number 1, prosperity begins. Oh, this is nice. Again, this is quite nice. So I want to say it's very much carrying on from Wednesday's energy on Thursday, letting go of things, letting go of people. Maybe we saw somebody at a party or a gathering or an event yesterday and we've realised actually we don't want them in our lives anymore. Sometimes we have friends who can be really, I hesitate to use the word toxic because that's quite an extreme word and it's used a lot. It's kind of used to death to the point where it doesn't really mean so much anymore. But people who maybe aren't helpful for us on our path, aren't on our wavelength. People who just like to moan and drag us down where we want to stay in a more positive energy. That's a very challenging dynamic. We might not want that anymore. They might, they might be emotionally abusive in some way. They might be somebody who just uses us as an emotional punch bag, and that's not okay. So know your worth. I love how this is the skunk spirit as well. Great wisdom from the skunk on 54-9. See, the skunk knows he's worthy. He doesn't care that most of the human world thinks he's a horrible, stinky, gross animal, because he's like, F you, I'm a skunk. I'm great. I think I'm great. Other skunks think I'm great. That's all that matters. And that is the truth. Yeah, so there is a shift of energy, a change of energy going on with doors opening and closing. So there's definitely a bit of a change of path going on here. And I feel it may be to do with friends that we may be letting go of, people holding us back. Literally, these dogs are holding her back. She wants to go in the new path, in the new direction towards the star, but she can't because the dogs are pulling her backwards. But all she has to do is let go of the leashes. That she's already let go of that one. The Jack Russell's going, woo! Ah, help. Let go of what's holding you back, because very often it's us clinging on to it. We think, oh, that's the thing or the person holding me back. Is it, or are you holding on to them without realising it, and then just blaming them for your failure to let go and to move forward? So there is some shifting energy. I want to say shifting sands for some. It's almost like the shifting sands of time today. Some quite big shifts happening on Thursday. So energetically, it's an interesting one. I think we could be noticing some upgrades as well. On Thursday, we may be getting downloads, upgrades from our spirit guides from the fifth dimension. You may have whistling in your ears. You may be feeling a little bit out of sorts, maybe a little bit dizzy, giddy spells. Yeah, there's some big energy shifts happening. I'm struggling to talk, actually. The energy shifts coming through as I'm sensing them are kind of big. So, yeah, interesting. But it's good because it takes us to the possibility of actually achieving what we want. And I don't necessarily want to say that it's a complete new beginning, but it's another step in the right direction. I want to say with this card, it's not a whole new beginning necessarily, although it might be. It's another step in the right direction. It's another tree planted. Okay, and I'm just remembering the quote. Is it from the Buddha? The best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago, and the next best time is now. Plant the tree. Do the thing. Plant the tree. Make the change. Do it now. Now. Now is all that there is. Don't second guess yourself. Just do it. Know that you're worthy. Do it. Okay, so there's a real kind of kick up the backside energy here. Just effing do it. Okay. Let's take a look at the Spirit Oracle. Oh, okay. All right then. Okay. What you fight, you become. Yes. Oh my goodness, that's so important when it comes to manifesting the law of attraction. What you fight against, what you struggle against, what you hate, what you focus on because you dislike it so much and you don't want it, is what you manifest anyway, because you're paying attention to it. If you give something your attention, you'll manifest more of it. If you fight against something, or fight against being something, you'll become it. But also what you fight, you become. If you're fighting a tyrant, well, very often the people fighting the tyrant become the new tyrants. Okay, so be very careful there, very cautious about who you are criticising, who your figure of hate might be. You know, you might really dislike a person, might always going on about, I mean, you see it on Twitter, oh, bloody Tories, this, that and the other, rah, 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 oh, never vote Tory, oh, they're all terrible, they're all evil. Okay, now you guys know I have no political affiliations whatsoever. But you see a lot of hate towards the Tories, but let's have a look at Labour or New Labour. It's basically the same party. It's so hilarious. The illusion of choice, eh? Yes. If you haven't seen the Jones Plantation, I will link to it below because it's a very interesting kind of story which explains about the illusion of choice that we have in our political system. Anyway. Yeah, that's a good one. I'll link that below. Very interesting. Rainbow light becomes white. Yes. Star being star seed. Oh, very sacred energy today. Yes, very very strong connections to the star nations, to off-world ETs, whatever you want to call them. People, you know, the people from other dimensions who are helping us, from other planets, from other solar systems, other star systems. Very strongly helping us at the moment. There's a lot of love coming through from them. So you may actually be getting messages from them. You may be getting downloads. If you meditate, you may be aware of them. You may be feeling them, sensing them, seeing them. You may consider yourself to be a star seed, in which case I think you'll be very much feeling the energy today because it's a big one. Rainbow light becomes white on 10. Yes, it does. It's kind of a reminder there that everything comes full circle. You know, you think you're new and different. Oh, look at me. I'm red. You're orange. I'm so much better and different than you. But you get all the colours together and it goes to white light. So we all have an important part to play. That's one of the messages of this card, is we all have an important part to play. Every colour of the rainbow matters. It all has a part in white light. Okay. But equally, full circle. Yeah, things. That's why revolution is called a revolution, because what do you do other than come full circle? You never really achieve that much. It never changes that much in the grand scheme of things. Revolution, I think, is unhelpful. Evolution is where I would personally Yeah, that's what I would personally want to see. Evolution can be a lot more helpful when we evolve and we grow, rather than just overthrowing one tyrant for the next one to come along. That's incredibly unhelpful. And you are loved, coming in again with the little skunk spirit saying, know your worth. Yes. So there's a big boost of self-esteem because you might need it today. You might be feeling a bit low. This fluctuating energy might be really feeling, making you feel a bit emotional, a bit off kilter. Very, very possible. That kind of energy can be quite turbulent. So a beautiful reminder of how loved you are, you know, by your soul family, by the other star beings, by the universe, and to be kind and loving to yourself as well. The inner child might be asking for some attention today as well. So if you feel like there's something you'd like to do that you think, oh, I can't do that. I used to like that when I was little, but oh no, that's silly. I shouldn't be wanting to do that. No, do it anyway. Do it anyway. It's okay. In child might want some attention. Might be saying they want to go on the swings or have a bun, an iced bun. Okay, you have my permission to have an iced bun today if you want one. Okay, or a cream bun. They're good too. Right. Although I don't like the supermarket cream buns because they always taste of cardboard. They never have a good flavour, do you? Want the ones from the bakery. Right. Oh goodness, can't have that many. Let's see. You cannot raise others up by lowering yourself down. Oh my goodness, is that second or third time we've had that one this week? A lot of recurring themes, a lot of repeating themes this week. So obviously that's a message that's very important about self-worth, self-love, and understanding on a deeper level that how you help others is not by making yourself small. I'm going to repeat that. You don't help others by making yourself small. And I've said this before, you don't make other people well by making yourself ill. Okay? So it's a reminder that there is enough for everyone. There's plenty for everyone. The better you do for yourself, and, you know, in the right way, in a positive way, if you can manifest the abundance in your life. And that's not by stepping on other people. This isn't the old energy where we step on other people and we fight and it's dog eat dog. No, 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 no. None of that. When we do better for ourselves, we have more resources available to help uplift others. Okay, without having to lower ourselves. We lift them up to our level. We don't lower ourselves down. Because when you lower yourself down, you're lowering yourself to a lower vibration. And you can no longer help them. You're no longer any good to them at that point because you're back in that low vibration with them. You can only help someone when you're at a higher vibration than they are. And they can reach up to you. Okay. Or they can be inspired by your vibration and step up to meet you. Okay. So, romance relationships. Thursday. What have we got? Flash in the pan, 16. Possibly, maybe, quite uncertain energy in relationships today. Emotional neglect, oh dear. And romantic getaway coming in again. So you might still be on holiday this week. It's the second romantic getaway. Or it might be that you kind of want to get away from romance at the moment. You don't want to be involved with anyone because there's this very uncertain, unsure energy. Maybe you're surrounded by people that you're interested in. Maybe there's someone you're interested in who has commitment issues. That's what I'm reading into this energy here. Maybe it was a fling and you wanted to go further and it didn't. You know, maybe you're feeling let down by somebody. There's some very difficult energy here, very difficult emotions. Or maybe it's you that isn't sure if you want to move forwards. Okay, maybe things went a bit too quickly and you're not sure what to do about it. And there is this sense of needing to get away from every day in order to see things clearly. So it might be that you're planning to go on holiday together, but you don't know if it's the right thing, if they're the right person for you. Very challenging energy in relationships, and this can be in platonic relationships as well. There's some very challenging energy here, being unsure of where you stand with people, being unsure of what their motivations are and whether they genuinely care about you. Maybe you are feeling neglected by your family at the moment. Maybe you're feeling or you're working through discovering that you were neglected by your parents or a parent, perhaps. That's very challenging. Okay. Maybe you're a bit avoidant in relationships and you don't really want a commitment. Maybe that scares you. So very difficult themes coming up in emotions, in relationships today. So be aware of that. And if you have the impulse to run, I want to say don't run. It's okay. Don't run away just because your feelings might be a little bit overwhelming today. Just take your time with it. Be very gentle with yourself. And remember you're loved. Remember, know your worth as well. So there's a reminder of self-worth coming in here. Okay, let's take a look at the money. Let's see the money in abundance. What have we got? Oh, top two. Generosity of heart, mind and wallet. Yes, you can do better than this. Yes, you can. Whatever your situation is, you can do better. And I don't mean that as in you're lazy and you could do better. You know, I'm not writing a report card here. Could try harder, doesn't try hard, doesn't apply themselves, could do better. I want to say that better is always a possibility. It's always a possibility, okay? And we don't often see this. We're not often told this in life. We kind of get guilted into, oh, well, you could have better if you did all of these 100 list of things, you know, list of 100 things. Or we're told we have to struggle and work and fight to have better things. But that's really not the case. That's not how the law of attraction works. If anything, we can be holding the good things that we want away from us through struggle. Struggle can be a terrible block to abundance. It's a dreadful block. It gives us something to do, makes us feel like we're achieving something, but ultimately it's a very hard way to do things. So generosity of heart, mind and wallet. So a reminder here that we can be generous and loving, not just with our money. You can be generous and loving and show gratitude to the universe in other ways as well. And I've mentioned tithing before, which is a practice that some people follow where you literally give money to a church or to a good cause on a regular basis, you know, and it's part of a gratitude practice to the universe where you feel like you're giving back and it helps with manifesting abundance, but it's also a good thing to do. So it's a thing that some people do, but some people can't do it. You know, maybe you can't afford to give to charity. Maybe you can't afford any money, but you can be generous with your mind, with how you think about people. You can send kind thoughts their way. You can be generous with your heart. You can offer your time, your effort maybe. Maybe there are other things that you can do to show gratitude, to show love, to give back. Okay, maybe that's something you already do. And if you do already give your time and your effort to others to genuinely help people, that's wonderful. You don't have to give money as well. You're doing enough. Okay, there's many different ways that we can be of service in the world, that we can genuinely help others. And that's definitely a theme. So it could be that you're inspired to work for a charity, to help a charity, to maybe volunteer. Or that you want to be able to do more and you're feeling a bit helpless maybe if you don't have enough money to, you think, oh, I want to help this cause, but I don't have any money, so I don't see how I can help them. There are other ways to help the world. And one of the most important ways we can do that as well is by working on ourselves. Allowing ourselves to come into alignment, working on our own energy, working on our own healing, on our own shadow healing in particular. Because as we heal ourselves, so we heal others, because we are all one, as I'm always saying. Okay, let's see some cats. Oh, I'm getting a little bit, I'm trouble breathing, a little bit breathless there. So I just open the window a little bit. Okay. Kittens. Love that card. Okay. Rainbow Bridge. Oh. Freya. Okay, Norse goddess Freya coming in. She is the goddess who drives a chariot that is pulled by cats. Now that's impressive. Yesterday I was looking after two very adorable cats, very sweet cats. They're of a certain age now, so they're not the most active. But could I get them in from the garden? Could I get them to come in? With difficulty. I had to use all of my skills to get them back in again. One in particular, she's been very naughty. She knew I was trying to get her in and she was trying to stay out for as long as possible. Yeah, just a reminder, I think, with Freya of how capable you are, because a lot of situations are really quite difficult. Freya's a very powerful goddess, very loving goddess, connected to Friday as well. I think that's actually her day. I think that's where we get it from in the English language. So connection, I want to connect Thursday to Friday. Okay, Thursday being Thor's day, of course, and Friday being, I believe, Freya's day. So connection to the divine feminine, the goddess Freya coming in, that might be a direct connection for you. Kittens! Oh, I love kittens. One of my favourite things. So connection to younger people could actually be literally kittens, or it could just be the inner child, like we're saying, the inner child coming up needing attention, or your own children, or children that you spend time with. But there's a very playful energy when kittens show up, and it's absolutely adorable, fun, playful energy. So there's this reminder to be playful no matter how difficult things are. Okay, even if you're trying to herd cats, you can still have a good time. You can still play. But kittens have claws. They know how to defend themselves. So you can be a wonderful, loving, generous person and still keep your boundaries too. Even kittens have claws and they can bite. Okay. And Rainbow Bridge. I love how this has come out with the other rainbow cards. We've got Rainbow Light Becomes White and Rainbow Bridge, which, if you don't know the expression, it's we refer to the Rainbow Bridge as when a beloved pet passes over to the other side. We say they've crossed the rainbow bridge. You see it a lot on like social media. It's a saying that people use, rather than saying, oh, my cat's died, my cat's crossed the rainbow bridge. Very beautiful message here. So it could be that there's a message here from a beloved pet who's passed over to the other side, a beloved animal who's passed over to the other side, or just your loved ones in spirit. It feels like there's a lot of love and support coming through here. Very beautiful message. It could be your own mediumship as well that's kind of revving up a little bit with this amazing swirling energy, so you may actually receive directly some messages from the other side, and that can be from a person or from an animal, because animals go with us when we move on as well. They are divine beings in animal form too, and they reincarnate and they pass over just like we do, so they can actually communicate from the other side. That's always interesting when an animal comes through from the other side. Speaking as a medium. Okay, so I want to bring charms in again today. I'm getting a very whimsical energy, so let's bring in some charms, get some other insights and messages here. And always remember with the cards, this is a group reading, so the cards could have a very individual meaning for you personally. All right. It's the fairy again on her star. That's her second time out this week. So there's some connection here with the fae, with the fairies, or maybe with fairy tales, maybe a very playful energy, very light, etheric energy coming through this week. I feel the fae want to help us. They are definitely trying to uplift us. I love this one because this is the infinity symbol. It's also number 8, of course. We have number 8 over here. But the infinity symbol reminding us that we are infinite beings. You don't have to do it all in this lifetime. There will be others if you want there to be. You don't have to do everything now. You already are everything. Okay, take the pressure off yourself. And that's not to say you shouldn't try and do anything. You shouldn't aim for anything. No, not at all. What I'm saying is take the pressure off. Chill. Okay, just chill and enjoy what there is to be enjoyed. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. I love these two little hearts intertwined, and then we've kind of got Cupid's arrow here as well. So there's definitely something going on with relationships here. And we had flash in the pan, possibly maybe emotional neglect and romantic getaway. So it could be that Cupid's arrow is struck and maybe it's the wrong person, or, maybe we're really asking questions about relationships, because in relationships today, emotions are running high. There's a lot to look at, so it's a case of, I think, choosing our direction now, choosing whether we move forwards together, whether it's worth it, whether that's what we want. Of course, we can't control what the other person does or wants, or maybe it's time to step away. So some questions that need to be answered, but the reassuring infinity symbol, stop working so hard, I want to say, because at number 8, which is also infinity, we can really just run ourselves ragged. But it's also a symbol of great abundance. The universe is so abundant that there's never an end. Okay, there is never an end to this universe, to this existence, to God, to love. Okay, it's everything, and it's all without end. Love knows no end and no boundaries. Oh, that might be literally love knows no boundaries. That's not necessarily a good thing. Okay. On that bombshell, let's move on to Friday, shall we? So on to Friday we go. Friday's cards, we have number 7, people, professional assistance. Number 68, wombat spirit, be at home. And number 5, challenges and obstacles and challenges. Why did I read that the wrong way around? Maybe we'll literally be seeing things the wrong way around today, because I just read challenges and obstacles for some reason. I can read. Okay. Right. So Not necessarily a straightforward energy. I want to say don't panic on Friday. I do want to say don't panic, even if things seem to be a little bit challenging, a little bit out of control. It's not as bad as it seems. I want to say stay grounded with the wombat here. Stay grounded, stay in the now, take a deep breath if you're a bit worried about something, a bit anxious, particularly when it comes to matters of contracts, of work, money, very practical matters like that. Maybe time for a trip to the library to get some more information about a problem or an obstacle that you're facing at the moment. It could be a legal dispute, maybe with a neighbour over a boundary or something. But professional assistance, yeah, the help is there for you. And the obstacle isn't as big as it looks. Okay, it seems scary because you don't know what's going to happen. But I always like to say with this card, it's not as bad as it looks. Because look, that's barely just a step. You can step over that hole. It's scary because you can see down into the canyon. And that's terrifying. But it's literally just one step. It's not like you even have to jump. You're going to be fine. Okay. And there's the foresight of this beautiful bird here. It's kind of like, takes me to like eagle condor from the South American shaman sort of traditions there. Eagle condor has foresight. He can see, he can lead us forwards, and he's saying, pointing his wings, going, go on, go forwards. You could almost say it looks like an angel, almost like a sort of a humanoid type being with wings as well. But there are these little lights, these sort of light beings here as well, which are very much here to help, here to guide you. And I don't think you can fall. I think it's just a case of just take the step and you'll be okay, even though it's frightening. It may be a day to actually literally get some advice, some legal advice, some professional advice, some medical advice, financial advice, you know, from a professional. Maybe actually seek some professional help. Yeah, so definitely starts out with a bit of a challenging energy, but the guidance here is to stay grounded, remember who you are, stay in the moment, stay in the now, and it actually won't be as bad as all that. I think Friday could actually turn into quite a good day. You could get a lot done, you could achieve a lot if we can get over any fears or worries or anxieties. You know, don't let things get on top of you, and I think it'll be okay. So we have the Queen of Forces. Yeah, it's going to seem like a big deal. Definitely in the Architect and number 1 of Keys. Definitely going to feel like a big deal today. Whatever it is, whatever problems arise, could feel much bigger than they actually are. Problems, because you've got the Queen of Forces here. Feels like emotions are going to feel a bit exaggerated. Okay, so it's not sun versus moon, night versus day. It's literally whatever the issue is. Okay, it's not as major as it might feel, but I think we're going to have all the feels on Friday. I think it's going to be a very emotional day, very difficult day, and maybe we are blowing things out of proportion. Maybe we are believing that they are more severe or more difficult or more complicated than they actually are. Maybe we're excessively worried. Maybe we're spiraling off into anxiety, into depression, into worry, needlessly as well. It might just be a really bad habit that we have, that we worry about everything. But the One of Keys coming in to remind us that Rome wasn't built in a day. I mean, yes, okay, this is a scene depicting ancient Egypt. I know, I get it. But the saying is, of course, that Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, there are all these plans on these papyrus here, and it looks like there's work going on over here, maybe building pyramids, you know. Yes, there's work to do, but it doesn't have to be intimidating. It doesn't have to be terrifying. I love there's this little bast cat down here as well, so cat energy is still coming in there. Yeah, it's a feminine energy, but it's a bit of a scared feminine energy on Friday, and I think it could incite us to spiral off in our emotions. So keep your feet very much on the ground, stay grounded. Wombats stay very close to the ground because they're sort of small. They look like tiny bears. If you've never seen one, I have seen them in the wild. It's like watching a tiny little teddy bear wandering around on all fours, and it's adorable. Don't get too close. Don't startle them, because they were not adorable when they're startled, but quite dangerous. But they're precious to see, just sort of bumbling around like these cute little like miniature bears. It's adorable. But stay grounded, stay close to the ground. I would say maybe actually ground yourself. Go out of your way to ground yourself today. Do some grounding techniques. Maybe get out, walk barefoot on the earth if you can. Connect with nature, go into nature. Touch a tree, touch a plant, touch the ground, touch the earth rather than tarmac, if you can. or even a pot plant if that's all you've got, you know. But try and ground yourself, because I think the earth energy is going to be very calming today. It's a day to go into the forest, to go forest bathing today, absolutely. To balance your energies, that's going to be very helpful. To balance the heart as well, because the heart could really be flying off the handle today for various reasons. Obviously it'd be a bit different for everyone because this is a group reading. Yeah, but remember, one step at a time. Okay, the One of Keys is reminding us we do things one step at a time, and yes, we have to design things and make decisions before we actually take the steps. What does the architect do? Well, he designs the blueprint. Okay, and then we work from that, and that might need to be adjusted and adapted. I mean, have you seen blueprints? How many times they get changed and updated and superseded? I have. I've worked on building sites in the office. Site secretary. What a glamorous life I've had. And yeah, you see the plans change. You see them evolve over time. And that's okay. Plans change and evolve. It's all right if you thought the plan was going to be a certain way and it's actually turned out it's not exactly going to be that way and you need to make a change. That's okay. It's totally normal. Look how happy the architect is. Look how happy he's sort of in his very golden, beautiful clothing with this lovely woman next to him as well. Whether he's a pharaoh, I'm not sure. But he's very much in control and he's very happy about it. And that's where I'd like you to be, in control and happy about it. Confident. Boost of confidence coming in here from the higher realms. Everything's okay. You can absolutely do this. Yes, there are obstacles in your path. When are there not obstacles in your path? Okay? And when we take on bigger projects, when we go for bigger things, we go for higher levels of success, the obstacles get bigger. And that's okay, because we can handle them. So I want to say you can handle whatever's put in front of you today. You really can. You really can. Don't be put off if the emotions are running high, because they definitely could be. Just make sure that you speak to, if you need some advice, if you need some help, if you need to be objective, get somebody who is objective about it. Get a professional to help you if necessary. Stay objective and know that it's one step at a time, and when we go on a journey to get to where from to be, it's never a straight line. It's always a zigzag all over the place, over here and there and here, and then we finally get there, and that's how it's supposed to be. Achievements come in all shapes, sizes, again. I do shuffle these, seriously. I sit here like shuffling them between days. But yeah, achievements come in all shapes and sizes. There's that reminder coming in again. So whatever the achievement is, that it's important to you, then it matters because it's important to you. And that's okay. And I want to say the things that are important to you matter, and what other people think about what should be important to you does not matter. So people's opinions about the direction you are choosing at the moment, I want you to say disregard other people's opinions. They don't matter. Stab the onion. Yes, I love this card. Thank you to Jem for this one. Get to the heart of the matter. Don't beat around the bush. Get to it. Okay. Get to the heart of whatever the problem is. Okay. Without the night, you wouldn't be able to see the stars. Yes, without difficulty, we wouldn't appreciate the good times. Okay. That's kind of the point of this realm of duality. It's so that we can experience the two polarities of everything. You know, without pain and suffering, we wouldn't appreciate joy. It would just be boring. It would be flat. It would be nothing if we couldn't compare it to something else to really understand how important it is. So it's contrast that is so important. It's contrast that the three-dimensional world provides us with, because we are in this world of duality. Particularly noticeable because we are in a lot of two energy in this decade. We've got 2023. I mean, last year was ridiculous. All those twos. Oh my lord. This year in 2023, which is a bit more spiritual, a bit more sedate. But we're still dealing with this very emotional number two energy, numerologically speaking. Yes, it's about contrast. It's about understanding what we want, what we care about. And that's one of the important things about this incarnation, I think. Okay. Right place, right time. So there could be some interesting synchronicity. Even if things are difficult, if you seek out the right person, you could actually find yourself taking a bit of a leap forwards if you seek the right help. So sometimes a problem can be a blessing in disguise, because it makes you go and seek help or assistance, which can actually move you forwards faster than you would have done otherwise if the problem hadn't actually occurred. So that's quite exciting. So, romance and relationships. Let's take a look at the cards. Oops, they all want to come out. You can't all come out, that's silly. One at a time, please. There we go. What do you need to let go of? So another question coming in there. Cupid Eros, romance. That's interesting. That's a lot like the charm that we had yesterday, the little arrow charm. So this could be following on from something that happened yesterday. There could be a budding romance. We could be thinking a lot about somebody, but what is it that we need to let go of so that we can be with them, or so that we can move the relationship to the next level, or so we can have it how we want to be? What do we need to let go of? And very often it's something within us that we need to let go of, an unhelpful thought pattern, an unhelpful belief, an old worry, an old judgment. Okay. Anxiety and fear. Yeah, there's the anxiety today. Your wish is my command. That's nice actually, because the universe really wants to work with you on your relationships. You know, romantic or platonic today, really wants to work with you on feeling more confident in relationships, feeling better in yourself, and understanding what it is that you actually want so that you can be happy. But there's also quite a romantic energy today, so I think this could be a really nice day for romance, for love, maybe for going on a date. I think a first date could be interesting today. Might be one you're very nervous about though. But I want to say it's okay. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. Have fun. Stab the onion. and see where it goes. And see where it goes, because it's okay. You know, we are allowed to try things. We don't have to know everything right from the start. Okay, we're not expected to be perfect from birth. No matter what you might have been told by your parents or your teachers. You don't have to be perfect all the time. We are allowed to play and explore. We are allowed to play and explore. So, money and finance. Let's just bring in the money oracle. Oops. No, we can't have all of those cards. Okay. You do want that one. All right. Don't forget where you came from on 16. Again, so there's a connection to your roots here, and this could be your hometown, could be the house you grew up in, or people that you knew in childhood. There's a connection there with money, with finance. Maybe somebody has some information for you. Maybe there's an investment. Maybe you can buy your childhood home. You know, that's what I want to say with this card today. It's a connection to your past. A connection to your past. Yeah. Be interesting to see what that is. Come on then. Sensible investments. Yeah. Don't try to rush. Don't try to win the lottery overnight. Okay, I just had to pause because I was coughing. My throat felt like it was closing over, so I've just blown out this candle because it's scented, this one. So we're down to 2 candles now. So that's interesting. The candles are getting fewer and fewer as we go along. Oh, could be an issue with the throat chakra here as well. We had the throat chakra come up in the overview. Oh, I dropped a card. There we go. In the overview today. So, yeah, the throat. Are you able to speak? Do you feel like your throat is literally closing over? Are you having some issues with the throat there that are suggesting you don't feel able to speak or don't feel able to be heard? And not just to do with money, you know, to do with any aspect of your life at the moment, which could be to do with money or abundance. An Aquarian age abundance, again, coming out just to remind us that the future of money and finance is going to look different to how it was before. And that's not surprising with the whole banking system. Looks like it's going to collapse soon. It's kind of being felled, shall we say. It's being demolished at the moment. And not before time. It doesn't need to be, but equally we need to be aware of that. In my opinion, you know, in my opinion, it's being demolished. We need to be aware of that so that we can be ready, so we don't get railroaded into another unhelpful, unpleasant or restrictive anti-human system. So, where do we want to go? No, we can't go to the next cards. Those are Saturday's cards. Cat cards, yeah, let's do some cats. What do the cats have to say to us? All right. I want to bring in a connection to Easter here as well, the Easter holiday. Today there's a connection here with the Easter holiday. It could be something that you're planning or something that you plan which comes to fruition around Easter time. So I've just been given the Easter link because I was just looking at the Easter eggs I was painting the other day for a class. Apparently I only make Fabergé. This is 24 karat gold leaf on there. Apparently I only make Fabergé eggs. We had to decorate eggs for an Ostara ceremony. but I'm very drawn to those. So the connection possibly to Ostara, the equinox, but also to Easter, the Easter weekend as well. Jump up. Valerian. Okay. I love watching cats jump. I don't know if you have a cat or if you spend time with cats, but jump up is amazing to watch them jump. They can jump so much higher than you think they should be able to based on their size. You look at the size of them, they're basically springs, tiny furry springs, and boo, they can jump so high. And I feel like there's a reminder here that we can fly higher than we think we can. And I love this comes in on 2911 too. Great wisdom coming in. I feel like we're being invited spiritually to really not step up, but jump up a level today. So that's a very interesting energy to come through, a very interesting theme. Get to a higher level that we didn't think was possible. And that could be on a spiritual level or on a very tangible level, to reach a level we didn't think was possible. Now, valerian. It's a herb similar to catnip that cats really, really like, but it's a much gentler herb, so it doesn't give them the same sort of hangover that catnip does. It's a much gentler high, shall we say, for cats. Valerian, yes, I want to say be gentle with yourself. Enjoy yourself, but be gentle. Don't overdo it today. Don't overdo it, because you might feel like, you know, you want to have a few drinks if you've had a stressful day and it's Friday. You know, I want to add a little word of caution here. Don't overdo it today. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with your body. You'll thank me. Territory. Dust bath. Okay. All right, so we had fleas earlier, and dust bath is one of the ways that cats get rid of parasites. You know, they will roll around in the dust to get rid of parasites, and that's particularly effective. So what parasites do you need to shed at the moment? But also a dust bath is very enjoyable, you know, just rolling around. It's very grounding, very earthing to do that. Sort of getting back into contact with the earth, covering yourself with the earth. It's a very earthing, grounding experience to have a dust bath. It's not just, you know, for cleanliness, and actually it could be quite dirty afterwards if you roll around in the dust. My cat does that. He comes in absolutely filthy, but very pleased with himself. He seems to really enjoy it. Really scratch that itch having a dust bath. Yeah. I'm not suggesting you actually have a dust bath, you roll around in some dust somewhere, or some dry earth. I'm not advocating that. That would be silly. Please don't sue me. No. I want to say, enjoy yourself in your endeavours. You know, you can shake off the parasites without it being a terrible ordeal. It can be actually quite easy. You can get rid of those annoying fleas and ticks just by rolling around, enjoying yourself and having a nice stretch. So it could be that some yoga is necessary as well. Maybe you need a bit of a physical spiritual practice to work that body. Territory, yes. All right. I want to say with territory, don't be afraid. Yes, boundaries are important, but we don't have to enforce them at all costs. Sometimes it's okay if the Tom from across the road walks across the corner of the garden. All right. We don't have to be too defensive today, although emotions are probably running high. Try not to be too defensive is what I want to say here. Come from discernment, come from wisdom. I think that's an important message from the cats there. Okay. All right. So, astrology dice. Let's take a look. See what we've got today. Oops. Oh, 5th house coming up again. Taurus. And the South Node. So South Node in Taurus, 5th house. Interesting. This is interesting because the South Node is that which we already know, that we can already do. It's the past. And 5 is kind of self-expression. It's the new, it's the future in a way. So there's kind of like a bit of a seesaw going on here with Taurus in the middle. And Taurus is very stubborn, as we know. Have you ever tried to make a bull go somewhere he didn't want to go? I don't advise it. But also I want to look at his horns here on the symbol of Taurus. Yeah, the two equal sides of the horns. So it can almost be like we're sort of caught on the horns on Friday. It feels like an internal struggle between what we used to do and maybe what we could do in the future, you know, things we did in the past, things we want to do in the future, or maybe we're being advised professionally that we should be doing in the future. That it's like a struggle between past and future, like maybe a generational struggle even, or maybe you are resisting change. Yeah, there's a sense of resisting change here, but it can come together so beautifully. It really could work so beautifully if you stop fighting yourself, stop being your own worst enemy, I want to say. So there is a potential battle of wills here, but it could be a completely internal struggle, or it could be somebody, you know, saying you really need to go in this new direction, or you're going to get left behind. You're like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. So, or it might be you trying to help someone move in a new direction, help them to keep up with the times, and they're just being very difficult about it. You know, it could be dealings with an elderly relative, for example. That can always be interesting. But it doesn't have to be a stalemate. You can move forwards. Taurus can't be pushed, but he can be led. So I'd say go softly if it's you that's trying to help the movement forwards. Okay. Or if you're trying to motivate yourself to go forwards, just take it gently, one step at a time. You don't have to leap into a new way of doing things. You can do it at your own pace. So let's move on to the weekend, on to Saturday. Okay, so Saturday's cards, we have number 8, Intention Discovery. We have 56, Spider Spirit, Make Your Dreams Real. And number 5, Wisdom. So we've got more divine masculine high priest energy coming in here. Very interesting day on Saturday. Ooh, are you starting a new course? This will be a good time to do it. Wow, very exciting. Grandmother Spider, the energy, the spirit energy who weaves the universe for us. She makes everything that is real. She creates the reality. Very wise Grandmother Spider, whether you like spiders or not. I don't particularly. I try not to get freaked out when they show up on cards. Not a fan. But I understand Grandmother Spider is very benevolent energy. So, but discovery. Wow. New discoveries, and obviously this person is panning for gold in a river. Are you panning for gold? Have you been looking for the nugget and finally it shows up? Could be a nugget of information. It could be a little gem of information that shows up today, something that really helps you to take your new path, to help you understand where your future lies, what it is that you actually want from life. Maybe it feels like there's a bit of a light bulb moment, a bit of a realization, perhaps connected to your direction. You know, maybe it's a confirmation of what you thought you wanted to do. Maybe it's a confirmation that you don't want to do what you were told you should want to do. But whatever it is, it's very, very powerful, very masculine energy with the 2 males on the cards here. And then Grandmother Spider in the middle. But definitely a very insightful day, I want to say, on Saturday. Very insightful, good day for high magics, I want to say in particular. Good day for research, for reading, studying, very much highlighted on Saturday. I'm shuffling my oracle cards here and I don't know why yet, because we're not ready to go there, and yet here I am. Maybe it's a day to study the tarot, or to, you know, to practice with your oracle cards if that's something you're interested in, or something that you actually do. You know, I'm not saying you're a beginner. You might be extremely talented and experienced at these things, but you might feel drawn to learn, because there's always some more we can learn, isn't there? Our guides can always teach us something new. I'm learning new things every day. But I want to say that the learning comes with great deep wisdom from the higher realms. It's higher wisdom coming through today. You might be inspired to sign up for a course or something, or to do a degree course. I'd love to do a degree in philosophy. I'm always saying that. I probably never will. Oh, again, number 1, the Architect coming through, and the 4 of Roses. Okay. So whilst there may be this, I want to bring in a little bit of caution here, whilst there may be this desire to embark on a new path, or on a new journey, maybe a new course of education or study, again, the reminder comes in, Rome wasn't built in a day. Step by step, you don't have to achieve it all in one go. And maybe you don't have to achieve it at all, with views of the ego coming in on number 4 of Roses. So are you doing it for the right reasons? Are you doing things for the right reasons? I think that's one of the questions. So we have this man here with his book. He looks kind of like a monk or something, maybe maybe a holy man or something. He's looking at this family over here. Maybe he's considering his path, whether he wants to go on the spiritual path or whether he wants to be a farmer and raise a family. Maybe he's thinking about that. You know, maybe he's questioning his choice. Maybe he's chosen to be celibate and he's questioning that choice of his spiritual path rather than a more mundane but equally sacred path. It's an interesting one. So we may be really questioning our path, our choices today. Very much questioning. And I would also say question why you are choosing to do something. Make sure you're not just doing it from ego. It might seem like a really great idea today. Okay, it was quite a masculine energy, and the masculine can get a bit big-headed sometimes. Make sure you're not just doing it for the sake of your own ego, for the sake of being able to say, oh, well, I've got a degree in this, I've got a doctorate in that, I've studied this with this person, look how great I am. Okay, is it actually going to make a valuable contribution to your life? Because if the answer is no, maybe you don't need to do it. Maybe you don't want to do it, and you're just doing it because you think you're supposed to. And this is the thing, I mean, academia in many ways is, I would say, less regarded now than it used to be. Much less regarded. Yeah, it doesn't seem to hold the same weight. I don't know. Obviously, I can't comment on the quality of exams or degrees or anything like that. I don't know anything about that. But generally speaking, there's so much information out there, you kind of don't even need to go to university these days. I mean, if you choose to, that's great. And for certain professions, you still have to. But even though you don't necessarily have to, there's very often another path, a vocational path you can take. But there's so much information out there on the internet. It's almost like you kind of don't need to do a lot of the courses. You can find a lot of the information for yourself. You know, do you need the shiny certificate and qualification just so that you can say you have it, so you can feel better about yourself? Is there a lack of self-worth here that makes you want to go down a certain route so that you can be seen as this person you want to be? That's what I want to ask. And if you do, that's fine, but remember, it will require follow-through. Let's see if passion requires follow-through shows up. That will be really funny if that card shows up. Okay. So, but interesting day. Great for spiritual study. You know, get the books out, have a good time with it. All right. Growth starts small. Yes. Remember to stay humble. Stay humble, or you might stumble. Growth starts small. Yes. So it could be the first steps on a new course. I want to stay with study because I'm very much in this theme with this one. But it's okay. It's baby steps. Like the architect says, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's step by step. Whatever your plans are that's coming to you today is baby step by baby step. Learn to rest, not to quit. Yes, you might actually need to rest before you move forwards, or you may think that you want a different path because you're tired. Sometimes we need to take a break and then we'll know if we're actually on the right path or not, because we think, oh, I didn't want to quit. I didn't want to stop doing that. I just needed a rest. I just needed a break. What was I thinking? So there is that. No mud, no lotus. I love that. Every master was once a disaster. It's okay to make loads of mistakes. Your past has no bearing whatsoever on your present or your future. It just is what it is. The past doesn't exist anymore. Are you aiming too low? Ooh, now there's the flip side of the coin from what I was saying. Are you aiming too low? Okay. Are you looking at a course of study that's actually too lowly for you? You're way beyond that already. Are you playing small with something you're actually really good at already? Or should you be working towards a higher qualification? You know, is there a much higher one that you should be doing that you're much more worthy of, that you'd be really good at? Maybe you're not expecting enough from yourself. Maybe, and I don't mean that as in you're being lazy. I mean that as in you're playing small because you don't have the self-confidence perhaps, or there's a lack of self-worth there, and you don't think you could do something that actually you're well capable of. Okay, in my experience, jobs in the workplace are much easier than people think they are. But you might need some extra knowledge, but they're really not that hard. Okay, there's not a lot that's actually beyond you. There's really not. Okay, Maneki Neko coming out for, is it the second or the third time? Let's bring in the other one. I'm going to get a different one. Oops. Let's get this one. It's a different Maneki Neko. You can sit there. Make your money work harder. Yes. Be smart with your money. Make your money work for you. That might be something to look into at the moment. If you have investments, are you investing wisely? Could there be a better way that your money could earn you more money? Now, I don't give financial advice, but that could be something for you to look into today. Okay. So could you be investing your money into, I don't know, a course of study that would make you earn a lot more money? Maybe that's it. I don't know. Maneki Neko, certainly beckoning abundance. The little cat's here for you, beckoning abundance, saying, yeah, we can do this. Okay. Paycheck to paycheck. Are you living paycheck to paycheck? That's a miserable way to be. And money magic. But most people live that way, and it's really sad because we really don't need to. So I think there is some wisdom coming in regarding money and abundance here as well. So it might be that you're studying the magic of money and abundance, the energy, the Babylonian money magic system. Maybe that's something you're choosing to learn about today. I do recommend reading up on that one. I did say it's a good day for high magics. High magics to do with money and abundance, yes. And low magics as well for money and abundance specifically, I think would be very helpful. Are you living... If you can hear that meowing, I think that's the kitten that comes to play with Bedford. Let me just have a look. That's the little black cat. There she is. There she is. Hello, sweetheart. Yep, Bedford's little friend, the little black cat that likes to come and play with him. We're going to have a look at her. She's here. Hello, sweetheart. You here to play with Bedford? He's asleep. I know, he's asleep. Okay. Back to our cards. Sorry about that. She shows up almost every afternoon meowing to play with him at exactly his nap time for some reason. So it's like right place, wrong time. So maybe that's a message there for us as well on Saturday. Maybe you're at the right place at the wrong time. That could definitely be a theme. So Bedford's asleep in the other room. He doesn't care. She's so cheeky. Sometimes she bangs on the door, on the cat flap. So on that note, let's bring in the cat oracle. See what other messages the cats have for us. We have the vet. The vet make its second appearance, and as I pulled that, I had to pause the video because I was coughing again. Felt like my throat was closing over, which is horrible. But again, that's the throat chakra speaking up, just like it did in the overview for the week. So what is it that we're not talking about that we need to be? Maybe there's a medical issue that you need to be talking about, asking for help with. So that could be a little heads up there. Oh my goodness, that was unpleasant. I've got the window open so I can breathe. Let's see. Queen. Okay. Now, a queen is a female cat who has kittens, who has not been spayed. Comes from the Old English word queen, spelt Q-U-E-A-N, meaning prostitute. Charming, right? Because cats, female cats obviously mate with a number of different males when they're in season. And they can actually have a litter of kittens where the kittens have different fathers. Did you know? So, little tarts. But, wow, so divine feminine coming in here, but the cat, the feline divine feminine coming in. That is interesting. Okay. And this could be about children. It could actually be about planning for the future for children. Or your own children if you already have children. But a very regal, kind of divine feline energy coming in here. So the little cat we just saw, she's not a queen. I'm pretty sure she's probably spayed. She's still chatting. She can hear me. She's going to chat for a bit now. Have a wash. I said these cards pull no punches. I did apologise in advance. Yeah. Could be literally, do you need to have a shower? Or maybe have a nice relaxing bath, I want to say. Because you've got to remember, cats don't just wash because they're dirty. They wash because they enjoy it. Makes them feel good. It's almost like a spiritual practice for them. It's a hobby. It's something that they do because they have to. It keeps them in good order, in good nick. You know, what can you be doing to help your body? Again, connected to the vet here, how can you be helping your body? Maybe there's a question about fertility here with Queen as well. Maybe you need to be asking for some help to keep your body in good order. Excuse me. Oh, okay, let's move on to the romance oracle here. Have a look at relationships for Saturday. All right. So Cupid Eros coming out again. So it's an interesting day for romance, a nice day for going out on a date, a nice day for flirting. That could be quite fun. And again, another reason to take care of yourself. You know, you want to look your best. And what do you want? Passion and flames. Ooh, exciting. So very romantic energy today. So on the one hand, we could be doing some very sensible things, some learning, some studying, and then we could be going on a hot date, because this is hot date energy. This is exciting. But also, we'll ask the question, what is it that we want? Okay, and we have the card here, the Wisdom card, which in a traditional tarot deck, and this is the Psychic Tarot, which is a non-traditional tarot deck. This would be the High Priest. Okay, so, and I said about maybe he's considering his life choices. Maybe he's wondering whether he wants to walk this path or have a life like this family over here. And again, that could be what you're being asked here. Is it a family that you want? Is it a family life that you want? Is it this different individual spiritual path that you want? Is it, you know, what is it? It doesn't matter, because you are allowed to have whatever you want. But there's a question here, whether you're actually aiming for it or not, whether you are aiming for something you don't actually want and still going in that direction, you knowing full well that's not the outcome that you want. Maybe there's some shoulding going on. Maybe you're shoulding yourself about your love life here. Oh, well, I should want this, I should want that. Really? You do whatever you want. Okay, we're moving into the age of Aquarius. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Live however you want to live. It's all right. You are allowed. We are going to do some more charms. Okay. I feel like we're only going to get one here for Saturday. There we go. Oh, interesting. So a little bird coming out like a swallow here, a little swallow type bird. So I got a connection with travel, with Africa, but also with the summer. And the clocks just went forwards today, as I'm filming this on Sunday. Sunday 26th. So there could be a connection to a romance that started in the summer. Okay, or connected with Africa maybe, or someone of African descent. Very interesting. I'm intrigued now. And birds can definitely be messengers as well, but it feels like messengers to do with romance, because I put it firmly on the romance card. So that's an interesting one. So let's move on to Sunday now. So our final day of the week, we're looking at Sunday. In Sunday's cards, we have number 4, intention, taking steps. I like it. Number 67, wolf spirit, turn knowledge into wisdom. And number 6, moving on. Wow. Definitely some forward movement coming in for Sunday. Could be stepping away from a relationship that isn't working anymore, stepping away from a job. Very often when this card shows up, you are literally, I mean, it's kind of what it says on the tin, moving forwards in life, but very often moving away from a relationship or moving away from a situation that wasn't working, and starting a new journey, starting a new job, a new relationship, or just stepping out on your own, trusting yourself, moving into much more positive time. It's a great card when this one shows up, because you're coming out of a dark time into a much lighter one, into bright sunshine. Really, really nice omen when this one shows up. Taking steps. So yes, this woman in her lovely dress taking steps up to the castle. So these two together, it's very much moving towards your dreams, moving towards wonderful things. Actually, look at all this kind of glitter here, these magical lights around her and these clouds. It's very sort of fairy tale image. She's moving forwards. Wonderful movement in the right direction, but it seems like it's very much spiritually guided on Sunday. So it's not just making changes for the sake of it or for greed, very much spiritually guided with the wolf coming in here, turn knowledge into wisdom. So take what you know and apply it. So wisdom is knowledge applied. So it's time to use what you've learned today. On Sunday, it's time to apply your wisdom, apply your knowledge in the real world, so that you can start to make those changes. So you can, you know, it's not necessarily even a new direction, it's just moving forwards, and having the opportunities that you've asked the universe for, the things that you've asked for. Yes, you're moving towards them now. I think we may start to see things that we've been trying to manifest start to show up. You know, you might start to see the green shoots today, even if it's not the full manifestation, because things do take time. But I think we will start to see the beginnings of the things that we've asked for really starting to show up. So it's a very hopeful day, a very positive energy. I like this energy very much. There's a lot of wisdom here as well. I want to talk about spiritual wisdom. It's a lovely day for spiritual study again, but also spiritual teaching. So, you know, you might feel drawn to help other people, to talk on a subject that you're passionate about or you know a lot about, perhaps. You know, maybe you're a yoga teacher, maybe you're somebody who teaches meditation or spirituality, and I think you can really help a lot of people today because the energy is ripe for moving forwards. Everyone's ready. We're ready to move on now. You know, we're in Aries season. It's not surprising. We're ready to take the steps. We're ready to start seeing the results. Even if it's just the tiniest results, we're going to start seeing them. 18 up in the air. 5 of roses, the garden. Oh, lovely. I love being in the garden. It's such a fun place to be. There's so much to see. Look at the little girl with her magnifying glass here. It's such an enchanted scene here. Really, really lovely. So that it does hark back to childhood somewhat. So there is a bit of nostalgia here as well. Nostalgia for the past, for when things were a lot more carefree. But they can be carefree again. It doesn't have to be so heavy. Okay, up in the air, coming in on 18. Oh dear, did the balloon fly away without you? It's okay, there will be other balloons. Alright, so there's a feeling of regret here as well. With these 2 cards, I would say there's some nostalgia, there's some feelings of regret, maybe feeling shame about opportunities that we missed out on, didn't capitalise on, or perhaps we made mistakes and we lost things, lost people. Yeah, missed out on things that we thought we wanted at the time. We made big mistakes and oh my goodness. But it's okay because there's always another horizon. There's always another hot air balloon. All right, not the only hot air balloon in the whole world. You have legs, you have feet, you can walk down the valley. You'll be all right. It's a glorious sunset. It's beautiful. And I want to say enjoy what there is to enjoy. Stay in the now this Sunday and enjoy what there is to enjoy. Because look, yes, okay, so your hot air balloon is floating off. But at some point it's going to come back down to earth if it's not being refilled. Believe me, I know one nearly landed on my roof one time. I used to live in Bristol. Get a lot of them around there. But look at all these beautiful flowers. Look at this beautiful sunset. They're up on this glorious hill. They could be having a really beautiful time. You know, they could be really enjoying themselves if they weren't worrying about this stupid balloon. Stupid hot air balloon, you know, enjoy what there is to be enjoyed. Don't worry about the stupid hot air balloon that's floating off. Just let it go. All right, there's nothing you can do about it. There's really no point crying over spilt milk. All right, and you can't go back to childhood. All right, you can enjoy the fond memories, but you can't go back there. You can go back to the location, but you won't be a child anymore. It won't be the same. It'll be different. I do want to say stop and smell the roses today. You know, enjoy what there is to be enjoyed. Yeah, no crying over spilt milk, and also don't feel bad about what you've lost, because you may not have lost it at all. It may just be an experience that you were supposed to have. You may not have lost anything at all. Okay, you may not have lost anything at all. It's all right. So I'm going to bring in some reassurance here. Also want to bring in the Queen of Forces again, yeah, so all the feels, big energy, big change. And when we have change on the cards, you know, it can be intimidating. It can make us feel unsure of ourselves and to perhaps long for a simpler time, long for an easier time. When we were a child, we didn't have to make the decisions. We didn't have to be the one responsible for everything. And I think that's completely normal to feel like that sometimes. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But at the same time, we can really, really get up in our heads. And I want to say, get out of your head. Get out of your head on Sunday. Don't get caught up in regrets, in, you know, ruminating about the past. It won't help you. It won't help you at all. You know, you are a divine being. You can control the universe, just like this powerful Queen of Forces here. You can control the energies of the universe. Focus on that. Focus on that which you are, not that which you thought you were going to be, or that which you were. I think that's an important message. So let's bring in the Spirit Oracle. Or Spirit Message Oracle. Okay, what do we have here? That one wants to come out. Declutter your life. Oh, interesting. Guardian Angel. I don't know how these got funny little marks on them there. Okay. Guardian Angel, declutter your life. So there's an angelic presence coming in here. And decluttering is not necessarily stuff. It could definitely be some stuff because we are changing season at the moment. It could definitely be getting rid of some clothes, some knickknacks, some furniture you don't need anymore. You know, you don't have to give it away. You can sell it. sell it or give it away. Could also be emotional clutter, like I was saying, stuff that we're going around and around and around in our heads that needs to go. But you do find that one leads to the other. So when we declutter in one area of our life, it declutters in others too. So if you get rid of some things, it will help you to declutter emotionally and mentally as well, just because you got rid of the stuff, which was the physical aspect of the things you were holding on to. So that's good to know. Achievements come in all shapes and sizes, that reminder of self-worth, and it's okay, and it's not all about how many certificates you have or how many zeros there are on your paycheck. Okay, that's a nice reminder, actually, very nice. Let's go to romance for Sunday. Stronger together. Well, that's nice. That's a nice message of unity for relationships. Work, love, family, spirituality, balance. Yes, balance is extremely important in all of our relationships, you know, romantic and familial friendships. And we have a responsibility to balance all of those things. And what I did when I wrote this card, because very often it's work-life balance, but that's not fair. Work isn't half and the rest of your life is the other half. That's completely out of balance. So I put work, love, family, spirituality, balance. Work takes a much smaller place on this card than it, you know, than it might do when people say work-life balance. And I don't think work-life balance is fair, because how do you balance 5 and 2? You know, if you work 5 days a week, you have 2 days off. How do you balance that? How do you balance 5 and 2? That's unreasonable. So I want to talk about the balance in your life. I do want to talk about the things that you prioritise, the things that you do, things that make you happy. Are you spending enough time with your family, with your loved ones, on your relationships, on your spirituality? How can you improve that balance? You know, there's talk about the 4-day working week, things like that. Are there smarter ways that you can work and that you can live and that you can organise your life so that you're not just a wage slave? Maybe you're not a wage slave at all. Maybe you're retired, or, you know, maybe you don't need to work. Maybe you've already done that. In which case, please share, because I'd like to know how. Stronger together. Yes, there is a reminder of support coming in from relationships here. Loving support coming in, possibly from a loved one or from family, maybe. But you're not alone in the situation. Even if, you know, you're struggling with all the feels today, you're definitely not alone. There's a very loving, angelic presence here as well. Wisdom and experience. Yes, what I was saying with 67, which is the wolf spirit, which is, what was it? Turn your knowledge into wisdom. Yes, turn your knowledge into wisdom. So wisdom and experience. What experience do you have that you can apply today, that you can help other people with, that you can... Because that in itself is an achievement. You know, if you've had all these experiences and gained all this wisdom, that in itself is a huge achievement. Some people never learn anything. Some people are idiots. And I say that in lovingly, but some people are idiots. Come on, we know that. Yeah. And this card keeps coming up this week. Achievements come in all shapes and sizes. So I really, really want to encourage you to rethink what you consider achievement to be. So from the Money Oracle, we have trappings of wealth. Oh, are you overspending, trying to look richer than you actually are? They're called trappings for a reason. And also, just because you have more money doesn't mean you have to spend it all on the things that you think make you look rich. All right? Do what you want to do. Also, user abuser, so there could be the subject of financial abuse coming up here. Maybe somebody is financially abusing you, taking advantage of you, or not letting you have enough money when you should be getting it. So that could be something to look at here. And again, it's that 33, which can either be the Christ consciousness or it can be its complete opposite, which is the Antichrist. Okay, and that's a theme that's come up a couple of times. So this kind of Antichrist energy. And I don't want to sound dramatic with that. I don't want to be dramatic. It's just the opposite of good. Okay. Yeah, is there somebody taking advantage of you financially? And that could be in the workplace at the moment, or encouraging you into bad habits. Oh, you should buy this. Oh, you should wear that. You should get this car. Yeah. Interesting. Or maybe it's your perception that needs to change. Maybe it's like a little devil sitting on your shoulder giving you really bad advice. A season for everything. Yes, there is a season for everything. Now we're coming into spring, which is really nice in the Northern Hemisphere, into autumn in the Southern Hemisphere. Yes, there's a season to be up, a season to be down, a season to be successful, a season to be just starting out, a season to be ending something. And it's okay. And I want to say it doesn't matter where you are on your path right now financially. You are where you are because that's just where you are, and it's all right. Okay, don't overthink it, because there could definitely be, with all these swirling emotions, there could definitely be a tendency to overthink, particularly when it comes to money today. Let's bring in the cat energy. Let's bring in the cat oracle. All right. Queen again, so it's that feminine cat energy coming in here. Now that is interesting. So it could be the divine feminine in cat form, so that could be one of the cat goddesses like Sekhmet, Bastet, Freya, even one of the goddesses connected to cats. Okay, could be sacred cats as well, like the White Lions of Timbavati. I'm just guided to mention there. Fresh grass. And cranberry. Okay, this could be to do with sexual health. All right. Cranberry obviously is what you drink when you have a UTI. You can also give it to cats when they have a UTI as well, but watered down. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. But fresh grass is for their digestion. They eat fresh grass for digestion. If you didn't know that, cats need grass. And cranberry. Some cats will literally eat cranberries off a bush because they are self-medicating. They know how to do that. And animals instinctively know how to self-medicate. They understand which herbs they need, which foods they need, and they will go and seek it out. Whereas human beings have forgotten a lot. We've lost a lot of that ability, or we've forgotten that we have it to start with. Because I have been on courses, you know, working with herbal teas, with herbal remedies, where we are literally taught to get back in touch with that aspect of ourselves again. You know, you hold the plant, smell the tea, breathe in the vapours, and then you write down what you think it does. And a lot of the time you'll be right. You will be sensing, you're learning how to pick up on what that tea does, how it helps the body, what it affects in the body. So I feel like it is getting back into touch with your body. And it could be a desire to actually study medical herbalism or aromatherapy, or just foraging with herbs. That's really fun. Yeah. Also, it could be that your physical health needs some attention. Maybe your sexual health needs some attention down below. What needs looking after? Do you need to go to the doctor? You know, fresh grass is about digestion. Maybe your digestion needs some attention as well. So we've got root chakra and, you know, the two above, the sacral and the solar plexus flagging up. So the bottom three chakras here, I would say, very much flagging up with the queen energy here. So cats are very grounded, obviously being animals, they're very close to the ground. Yeah. But I want to say looking after the whole you, the entire you, because a queen is an entire female. I want to say looking after the entire you, particularly for women. Particularly for women. Yeah, take very, very good care of your body today. It could be very much the day to pay attention to what it's trying to tell you. So let's move on to the spiritual guidance message for this week. Okay, this week's spiritual guidance message. Here are our cards. You will have seen two of these already because I posted them on Instagram. We have 17, grief, accepting loss. Number 9, choice, understanding consequences. And the third one, which I haven't shown you, which is 14, understanding, looking at both sides, which actually brings the balance back into this message. Because if you just look at these first two cards, that can seem quite intimidating. Very powerful message about loss and change and taking the consequences of your actions and taking full responsibility for your life, which can seem very dark, but it's also extremely empowering. And yes, the grief of loss, losing things, failure, losing people, as we always will throughout our lifetime. We will always lose people. We will gain people too, but we will lose others. I think this card reminds us as well of the cycle of death and rebirth, which is so important to remember because it is a cycle and we shouldn't be afraid of death. It is just stepping over to the other side, into the spirit world. There's nothing to be afraid of, and it is sort of it's made out to be this horrible, terrible, frightening thing that we have to avoid at all costs and hope it never happens to us. But the truth is it's going to happen. I think in the Western world we have a very unhealthy relationship with death. Very unhealthy relationship with passing over. And it can be good to remind ourselves that it's okay and a normal part of life. But yes, grief is painful. And you know, the consequences of our actions can be very painful as well when we lose out. But at the same time, there's always a blessing. I love how this is actually a skull. The skulls here, so there's a very powerful message here with all the skulls showing up here. Very sacred message, very ethereal, but also very earthy, I want to say, because look at these dragons. They're kind of, wow, look at that. It's like smoke and fire and magma coming out, like they're coming out from the centre of the earth. There's all this smoke around them, and this kind of almost godlike figure in the middle looking up at the sky. So can feel very intimidating, but the truth is that there's good and bad in every situation. There's positive and negative in every situation, and you know, if we can really understand what's going on, we can understand the lesson, we can understand the message. That's where our true power lies, and that is what is empowering. So we should never shy away from the things that we don't like. We should pay attention, understand what it is and why we don't like it, you know. And it really helps us to see the bigger picture. And that's what I want to talk about with the spiritual guidance message this week. I feel it's about seeing the bigger picture and understanding things from a higher spiritual standpoint. And I think that's the gift that we'll be given this week. I think that's the gift for many people. For many people, I think, in the world at large, but particularly if we're looking for it, I think you're more likely to see it. Really understanding the beauty, the perfection of this realm, even though it looks like a god-awful mess. And it can be extremely painful. Understanding the much bigger picture here, the cycle, the circle of life, if you like, the cycle of life and death. And how there is no real death, you know, we just move to new cycles, and that there is really nothing to be afraid of. And it's okay. I really want to bring in some reassurance here. This is a very, very reassuring card, very balanced card, very emotionally balanced, brings in almost like this kind of blissful, like paradise beach here, which is gorgeous. But at the same time, it's a little bit scary because there's this skull and this big dragon on top. But to me, this is just the knowledge of what you might call the occult, because occult just means hidden. But the hidden, wider knowledge of the universe that people do have on this earth. Many people do have this knowledge, but they don't want to share it. Some of them are starting to share it, but not as much as I would like. But to be fair, a lot of people aren't ready for it yet, so that's probably fair enough. But the great mysteries of the universe, the great truths of the universe, we've hardly been told anything. We've been told a pack of lies, or a very, very, very watered down version of what the truth of the universe is. And I think there will be more of that truth coming out over the next 24 weeks, I'm being told. So what's that, like half a year? Next 24 weeks, pay attention. I think it's going to be very interesting what is disclosed to us, but you'll need to pay attention to get all of it. I think lots of things are going to be disclosed, but the majority of people are only going to get a little snippet of it, and there's a lot more to actually see and to be seen, which is fascinating. But it's kind of revving up this week, which is why this message is coming through, just to kind of prep us to be aware of this coming in. I'm just going to grab some other cards here. Let me pause while I do that. There we go. I just want to bring in the secret language of light here. Just to complement this message, bring in another couple of cards. Yeah. 33, soul love, 22, divine animals. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. We've had a very strong cat energy throughout this whole reading. I mean, I used the cat oracle cards. I never use those. But 33 coming in. Now, this is interesting. 33, like I said, soul love. 33 is the Christ consciousness, and its inverted energy would be the Antichrist. And I think there's a very deep lesson here about understanding the shadow, understanding the aspects of us that we reject because we don't like them or we decide that they're wrong. Integrating and loving and caring about all sides of us. Yeah, it's a very deep message, and I'm not sure I can get the right words out, but it's one for us to learn on a soul level, one that we are learning on a soul level. Many people are sort of starting to get this, that there is perfection in this world, that we live in a world of duality. The Antichrist kind of energy has to exist so that we can understand the Christ consciousness that we are being asked to relearn to embody. Okay, it's a kind of a learning tool, if you like. And 22 divine animals, yes. I'm often drawn to the white lines of Timbavati with this one, the magical lines, the connection to Sirius, the connection to off-world, the divine energy coming through, the divine wisdom from higher realms, from Sirius. And also the Lion's Gate, which is the 8th of April. I feel there's a 8th of April, what am I saying? That's interesting. The Lion's Gate is the 8th of August. But for some reason, the 8th of April shot out of my mouth. So mark that date. 8th of April, there's something going on. There's a portal happening on the 8th of April, which is going to be very powerful. Very divine feminine as well, because we've got 22-4, which is the feet of the goddess. It's the divine feminine coming in here. Very balanced. And we have the Queen card come out. You know, the Queen, the female cat card. The entire female cat, the counterpart to the Tom, coming in here. So it's the divine feminine cat energy that's coming in on the 8th of April. It would be very interesting to see what that day brings. So mark it in your calendar, pay attention to any messages or insights that you get on or around that day. So, fascinating. What else? Achievements come in all shapes and sizes. Have I mentioned that? Okay, we get the point. That, I don't know how many times I shuffled that pack and it's come out, what, 4 or 5 times now? Achievements come in all shapes and sizes, and ultimately the biggest achievement is the spiritual one. That's the important one. It's the only important one, to be honest. And even then it doesn't matter. You're here to play and do whatever you want to do. No rules. All bets are off. It's playtime. Okay, spiritual playtime. I'm calling it. So... wow, that's interesting. So some big lessons coming, but I want to say, yes, the big lessons are coming, but what they actually lead to is not kind of a more severe attitude towards the world. When we really integrate those deeper lessons, we become more joyful and we feel lighter in ourselves, and we can really enjoy this existence. We can enjoy this incarnation without carrying this burden of responsibility, this weight that physical matter sort of puts upon us. Literally, we get to carry literally physical weight because we have this physical body. But I think once these lessons are integrated, we become so much lighter. And it will be interesting to see, with this card in particular, 8th of April, keep an eye out for that date, connections to Sirius, communications from Sirius, but also really understanding on a higher, deeper level why we have to integrate the shadow and what it means for us. I think that's a very, very important lesson that's going to be going on this week. On whatever level is appropriate for each individual person, but it'll be there for sure. I think the light and the dark's very much going to be highlighted this week. The polar opposites, the extremes, will be highlighted for us to see in all of their glory. So I hope that was helpful to you. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being a member. I really, really appreciate you. Sending you lots of love. I will see you next week. I'll also see you on Ko-fi for more members only content. Please do remember to tell your friends. Tell a friend. And I will see you very soon. Take very, very good care of yourself. Bye-bye.